Chapter 291, Avenger 1. Kururung, damn it, how can the Earth Tribe have such a force? Do you think you can get away with this? Aren't you afraid of the Heaven Tribe's bounty? A bounty from the Heaven Tribe? Sorry, but this was authorized by the Black Dragon King. I say with a smirk. As the Black Dragon King has entered the True Devil Realm, the entrance to the True Devil Realm must first be cleared for the true plan our dragon race has been preparing to begin. Kwang, the dragon claw swings around. At the same time, the cultivators at the 4-axis stage guarding the entrance to the True Devil Realm rush at me, spitting blood yet fiercely charging towards me. This guy is using poison alone. I smile as I scatter my own poison and let the 4-axis stage cultivator who is trying to inject me with his poison rush toward me. Kwang, our fists collide, and I intentionally create an opening for his poison to seep into me. Even though the poison weakens my strength, I am still capable enough to handle 2 of them. I quickly press them, bursting one of their bodies. Kwang, he dies on the spot, and I make sure his soul can't be resurrected by seizing it as it tries to pass through the soul's pathway. Then, as I am about to deliver the final blow to the one skilled in poison arts. Koog, arg, I pretend to have a poison attack, faking a mistake and letting their souls escape. I killed both bodies, but I allowed resurrection. I act desperate and shout. Damn it, no, if I let a witness escape. Pot, the souls of the cultivators fly away through the soul plane somewhere, and I stop and grin. With this, even the Heaven Tribe will be confused, right? Not all members of the Heaven Tribe are fools. They wouldn't just believe someone who openly shows their face and plots something. It's more likely they would think someone is framing Seo Whale by impersonating him. But by removing the witnesses and destroying the evidence, the Heaven Tribe can't completely dismiss the possibility that it was really Seo Whale. The human race side will probably strongly protest against the Earth Tribe soon, and put out a bounty on Seo Whale. Then, Ryan would notice that Seo Whale isn't just dead. If she learns that I spoke today about a relationship with the Black Dragon King using Seo Whale's face, there's a good chance she will hold on to hope. Considering Seo Whale's cunning, there's a real chance he isn't dead, so it's not entirely a lie. Recalling the 15th cycle when Seo Whale had Yuan Yu monitor me from start to finish, I suddenly get goosebumps. After the cultivators at the 4-axis stage died, those who had been guarding the entrance of the True Devil Realm at or below the stage of Heavenly Being had already fled. I swing the Dragon Claw comfortably, collapsing the entrance to the True Devil Realm as much as possible with the power of both immortal beasts and demon beasts. It isn't completely closed. If the human race inside the True Devil Realm keeps banging on the dimensional gate without paying attention to the Realm Annihilation Heavenly Void formation, it will be enough to open it. The grand cultivators of the True Devil Realm won't recklessly destroy the human race just because their retreat is blocked. The Devil race thinks of the human race as a group of madmen. Having once sided with the Devil race, I know how the Devil race views the human race, so I can guess what the True Devil Realm would do. Rather than provoking them while they're cornered, they'll just blockade them and gradually tighten the encirclement. I grin and turn back towards the direction of Heavenly Cauldron Mountain. I'll ask Hong Fan to detoxify the poison and further stabilize my state at the Grand Perfection Heavenly Being stage. Just as I am pondering my next moves. Boong, my transmission talisman sounds. Jaeon Myung-hoon is contacting me. What's the matter, Jaeon Myung-hoon? While rummaging through the ruins of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect, I found something. What is it? It's a record made by the Supreme Sect Master after fighting Jin Wei. A record after Jin Baek-ho fought Yin Wei. What about that record? The record mentions that, after Jin Wei was defeated, she spoke to the Supreme Sect Master about the True Orthodox Axis, and to uncover it, the Supreme Sect Master dispatched some disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect to the Nether Ghost Realm. Jaeon Myung-hoon's subsequent words inevitably startle me. And, I found out that the Supreme Sect Master had created a transmission Dharma treasure to communicate with the disciples he sent to the Nether Ghost Realm. Upon checking the Dharma treasure, there was a signal just 3 days ago. That means, some of the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect who were presumed lost in the Nether Ghost Realm, they are still alive. He exclaims with exhilaration in his voice. There weren't many disciples sent to the Nether Ghost Realm. Maybe 4 or 5 at most. But it seems that to Jaeon Myung-hoon, these disciples represent more than just numbers. Such a strong reaction for just 4 or 5 disciples. I'm more interested in the information about the True Orthodox Axis the disciples discovered than them themselves. With that, I can get closer to Seo Whale's secrets and surpass him. Furthermore, the true orthodox axis will undoubtedly be much stronger than the usual orthodox or heterodox axis, potentially raising my power significantly. Wait, what's this? Something feels off. While I'm pondering this, I suddenly feel a sense of unease. Having applied for a mission to support the mystical scaled fish commanding sect from the duty hall, entered my cave residence and frowned. Something feels off about the main body. In Earth terms, it feels somewhat psychopathic. The actions like unhesitatingly taking on Seo Whale's appearance, trying to control Yu Ryan's actions from afar, or strangely failing to empathize with Jeon Myung-hoon's words. It feels like something is suddenly missing. Did Seo Whale, that snake, do something? Whenever something happens, the suspects are always Seo Whale or a true immortal. A strange feeling. Currently, the main body and I share thoughts. So if I feel something odd, the main body is aware of it. However, strangely, when turning my consciousness back to the original body, no anomaly is felt. On the contrary, the main body thinks that worrying about this in Seo Lee's body is unnecessary. I remember the time Seo Whale brainwashed me as soon as we met. Perhaps, the brainwashing I noticed then was just a diversion, and the real brainwashing was successfully done without me knowing. Yet, when I shift my consciousness to the original, it dismisses it as too far-fetched a speculation. It's unsettling. I decide to practice the Ghost Immortal Kui devilish secrets, collecting merits in Black Ghost Valley to obtain the valley's consciousness methods. Maybe by gathering and learning these consciousness methods, I can determine whether there's something wrong with the main body or if I'm just being paranoid. After repeatedly exhaling and inhaling spiritual energy, I gradually feel black energy enveloping my body. After a while, black energy gathers around me, forming 6 swords. The training method of the Ghost Immortal Kui devilish secrets is as follows. First, accumulate yin energy, then indirectly manipulate ghostly energy with yin energy to form swords made of ghostly energy. Pukik, pukik, pukik. The swords begin to embed themselves throughout my body. Second, embed the swords made of ghostly energy into the spiritual veins throughout the body, severing the spiritual veins piece by piece. During this process, the severed spiritual veins must not be regenerated even partially. Third, as the spiritual veins gradually sever, the body enters a near-death state, and in this death-like state, it becomes aware of death. Fourth, repeat this process until familiar with the sense of death, and once accustomed, use invocations Jo Yan to draw power while in the near-death state. Fifth, after accumulating some power, use that power to absorb power from the souls of other spiritual entities to practice the method. The fifth step isn't really necessary. In the Ghost Immortal Kui devilish secrets, the power spoken of is essentially death. And for me, there is no need to extract death from other spirits. Simply drawing it from the main body is sufficient. Wo Wang, Kook, 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 Kook. Having driven the swords of ghostly energy into Yuan Yu's body, I sever the flow of life force. Then, I sink into that familiar feeling. The endlessly familiar death. The darkness, it's so naturally grasped in my hand. What's this? How many people are consciously aware that they are breathing while they are breathing? Probably not many. At most, people might become aware of their breath when they breathe in the air in a very clear area or gasp for breath after strenuous exercise. To that extent, breathing is a natural thing. And like breathing, I realize I am naturally enveloped in death. Rendering the physical body inanimate, submerging the consciousness, and then, through invocations, separate the death wrapped around the soul and merge it with the nascent soul. Is this the end? I'm perplexed by the overly simple process. What's this? Wasn't it supposed to be extremely difficult? I ask Bai Yul, feeling doubtful. Bai Yul, who had described becoming a purple, lust-crazed, bald monster as a very, very minor side effect, had mentioned that the Ghost Immortal Kui devilish secrets had a bit of difficulty. Naturally, the Ghost Immortal Kui devilish secrets should have been more than just a bit difficult. Maybe the latter half of the Ghost Immortal Kui devilish secrets suddenly becomes more difficult. I examine the latter stages of the Ghost Immortal Kui devilish secrets. I look for something more challenging, but nothing of the sort appears. Each step seems as ordinary and peaceful as breathing. Could there be some hidden secrets I'm not aware of? Bai Yul, are there any hidden secrets that appear once one has mastered the Ghost Immortal Kui devilish secrets? If there was such a thing, it would have been discovered long ago. There was a past figure who achieved great success with the ghost immortal Kui devilish secrets and even rose to the rank of Black Grand Elder. Wasn't it supposed to be extremely difficult? I'm asking because it seems to all be ordinary cultivation methods. Bai Yul responds with a puzzled tone. What? Which part seems like ordinary cultivation methods? Every step involves skewering the body with swords, sustaining it with ghost fire, and rotting the entire body. It's incredibly difficult. Ordinary disciples go mad from the pain when they start learning the ghost immortal Kui devilish secrets. That's why mental cultivation must also be practiced alongside it. That's considered incredible difficulty. We do this every day in the Azure Heaven Creation sect. Although there is a slight difference in perspective between myself and the main body, even the main body finds it incomprehensible this time. So weak. The first, second, and third steps are problematic, but the real issue starts from the fourth step. The fifth step is comparatively easier. It's not easy for someone who has lived a lifetime as a living being to suddenly feel the power of death. No matter how close one comes to a near-death state, it's nearly impossible to handle death, because they've never truly experienced death. Bai Yul continues to explain. That's why, even if one repeats steps 1, 2, and 3 numerous times, those without talent cannot advance to the fourth step. To move on to the fourth step, one must go through the process of dying and resurrecting several times, getting infinitely closer to death. Many spend their entire lives unable to surpass the fourth step of the ghost immortal Kui devilish secrets. Instead, more people properly train in the ghost immortal Kui devilish secrets only after they've died and become a ghost king. I furrow my brow, momentarily failing to understand his explanation. Isn't the fourth stage about handling the power of death and merging the nascent soul with death to become a ghost king? Yes. And that's difficult. Yes. Quote. I'm bewildered, not realizing the steps I breezed through are considered so challenging. Is this right? Literally, it felt like moving something that was always by my side. Rather, it felt refreshing, and others find this difficult. I can't believe I had passed through the difficult stages of the ghost immortal Kui devilish secrets so easily. Could this also be Co Whale's trickery? In fact, given my talent akin to that of a slow-moving grub, it seems more credible that Co Whale secretly helped me learn the method quickly, rather than my own swift mastery. Somewhat confused for a while, I continued to manipulate death according to the intricacies of the ghost immortal Kui devilish secrets, gradually transforming my nascent soul. TSSSSST. As my nascent soul begins to turn pitch black, my eyes slowly start to slit and my whole body becomes enveloped in black smoke and ghost fire. After a while, I open my eyes and realize that my nascent soul within my golden core had transformed into something resembling a small ghost king. Hey, Bai Yul. Yes, my lord, could it be, have I fully mastered the ghost immortal Kui devilish secrets? Congratulations, my lord. Indeed, it was a method far too insufficient for a great being like yourself to master. Please forgive me for offering such an inadequate method. Quote. How long has it been since I received the ghost immortal Kui devilish secrets? Even if I add up all the time since I received the ghost immortal Kui devilish secrets, took on a mission at the duty hall, and returned to the cave residence to begin learning the method, it's only been about an hour. Have I mastered a method I just received within an hour? Of course, the time spent learning the method was short, and I felt a significant lack of power in many areas that needed further development. Although the time I spent learning the method was short and I still feel significantly lacking in power and have much to fill in, I can tell. I realize the essence of the ghost immortal Kui devilish secrets, and I can feel that practicing it in this state will allow me to accumulate spiritual power at an incredibly fast rate. About a day after I realized I mastered the ghost immortal Kui devilish secrets, I receive a notification that the mission I applied for at the mystical scaled fish commanding sect has been accepted, and I am informed of the location where I should gather for the mission. Shortly thereafter, I board a teleportation array head to the location of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect outside of the Black Ghost Valley. Upon opening my eyes, what appears as a gigantic black palace, as large as a mountain range and resembling a dragon. The layout of the palace is constructed as if a dragon is writhing, and the words, Mystical Scaled Fish Commanding Sect, are written on the main gate. Outside the gate, there are hundreds of cultivators already present, each of them seemingly harboring a curse. Be cautious, my lord. What is it? Over there, remnants of the Yin Soul Ghost Sect can be seen. They will likely attempt to curse my lord in some way once they know you're affiliated with the Black Ghost Valley. I look in the direction by YUL indicated. There, I see individuals emitting a unique energy mixed with ghostly and corpse energy. But should these remnants be roaming around so openly? It's likely because the Yin Soul Ghost sect specializes in puppetry, including curse dolls and corpse dolls. Those you see are probably not their real bodies but curse dolls or corpse dolls. I look at them with interest. These guys are practicing the Yin Soul Ghost incantation. Opening square bracket ... Yes, indeed. Bai Yul continues. I'm ashamed to admit, but in fact, the curse lineage of Black Ghost Valley is heavily involved in the Yin Soul Ghost sect. The methods for creating jiangshi and curse dolls complement each other. I see. I think I understand the feeling. I am familiar with using curse dolls as I often used Yuan Yu as one myself. Curse dolls that regenerate and do not die are incredibly durable and boast immense utility because they never break down no matter how often used. It seems likely that they too are using jiangshi in a similar manner, utilizing them as curse dolls. By the way, Bai Yul, do you know anything about the mystical scaled fish commanding sect? For instance, why they would suddenly need curse methods? I apologize, my lord. This is also new to me. Originally, the mystical scaled fish commanding sect had nothing to do with curse techniques. However, the mystical scaled fish commanding sect occasionally issues missions or puts out bounties that seem unrelated to them. Usually, these are highly likely related to the Earth Tribe. The mystical scaled fish commanding sect conducts missions on behalf of the Earth Tribe's orders. The Earth Tribe. I ponder deeply on why the mystical scaled fish commanding sect would gather curse sorcerers. In a dark secret room. Within the room, a water mirror made of black liquid floats in the air. In front of the water mirror, two figures sit cross-legged. Wo Wang. One figure touches the water mirror and murmurs something. Shortly after, the water mirror ripples, and a man dressed in black clothes emerges above it. Greetings, Arc-controlling envoy. As you have instructed, I have gathered curse sorcerers. However, poison cultivators are not easily found. Please understand. All right, I understand. There are a lot of poison cultivators in our Earth Tribe. Yu Ryan, the Earth Tribe's True Dragon Alliance's Arc-controlling envoy, nods. Since we were unable to secure any poison cultivators, we must make sure to gather more curse sorcerers. I will keep that in mind. Now, I kindly ask you to start the transmission. Here it is. Yu Ryan takes out a piece of paper from her clothing and throws it into the water mirror. The paper depicts a man dressed in white. The new Grand Cultivator of the human race. Use as many curse sorcerers as possible to cast curses on him. Her eyes slit vertically. I, too, will secure outstanding poison cultivators to prepare a lethal poison. Grinding her teeth, she glares fiercely at the figure inside the paper. Seo Unyun is her target. Gathering information, this Seo Unyun bastard is someone I absolutely cannot defeat with my power alone. But there are countless ways for the weak to challenge the strong, among which curses and poison are the most notorious. As for poison, there are none who can match the insect race, so I should also make contact with them. Use the curse sorcerers to cast a curse on him, hire poison cultivators to manufacture extreme lethal poison, then lure him into a trap and deploy it. If all goes as planned, I might have a chance at my revenge. Yu Ryan terminates the communication with the mystical scaled fish commanding sect and steps out of the dark secret room, muttering with a venomous expression. Wait for me, my enemy. I will definitely repay this grudge. Whatever it takes. Translator notes. I forgot to mention this in chapter 289, but return Kuei has the meaning of taking refuge or devoting oneself. It's often used in spiritual, religious contexts and has the meaning of returning to and depending on a higher power. In Buddhism, it can have the meaning of returning to the Buddha. Chapter 292, Avenger 2. How long have I been waiting in front of the main gate of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect? When the number of curse sorcerers gathered in front of the gate exceeds 10,000, a deep roar resonates. Wo Wang, the main gate of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect opens. Inside the opened gate, a boy dressed in a black robe waits for us with a neat and composed appearance. I extend my deepest thanks to the many of you who have gathered here at the request of our sect. As those who know may know, we have previously sought out specialists in certain fields several times before. The boy continues his explanation. In fact, what we are looking for at the mystical scaled fish commanding sect are about 10 curse sorcerers of first-rate skill or above. In other words, unfortunately, the vast majority of you who have gathered here will need to return home. At those words, voices of dissatisfaction can be heard from various places. Hey, what do you mean by that? Don't talk nonsense. I gave up a better mission to come here. I watch indifferently, arms crossed, observing how things will unfold. The boy smiles slightly, ignoring the clamor of the cursed sorcerers, and raises one finger. Those who know may know. Now, let us begin the test to see if you meet the level of cursed sorcerer we require. Coo-goo-goo-goo. At that moment, the silhouette of a gigantic monster appears behind the boy. Single quote exclamation mark single quote. This monster harbors powerful demonic power and also possesses a bizarre corpse energy. And I feel a strong sense of déjà vu from this monster. This creature's name is by me. As those who know may know, it is created by capturing fragments of vestiges she from the interdimensional void and fusing them with the corpses of creatures from the bright cold realm. They are very ferocious and difficult to kill. Moreover, because we have specially modified them, these creatures absorb curses to further enhance their physical power. As the boy speaks, he soars into the air. Wo Wang, the monster named Bai, supports its upper body on the ground. The ground trembles, and a tingling sense of crisis surges through the air. From now on, only those who can pass through the main gate of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect without being touched by Bai will be considered for further tasks. I wish you all good luck. The boy then disappears inside the gate, and Bai, remaining in motion, completely blocks the main gate of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect with its massive body. Damn it, is a major sect supposed to be this outrageous? I heard that if I just came, they would give me a mission. They really are going too far. How much did I spend just to get here? TCH, eat well and live well. About 100 cursed sorcerers of dubious skill swiftly exit the venue. Those who remain seem to be somewhat confident about curses. All of their skills seem ambiguous. I click my tongue and look around. Everyone seems to possess some confidence, but it appears that most of them extemporaneously dived into curses and harbor vain hopes. These people will likely be filtered out at this gateway. There's no real need to observe something like this. I walk towards Bai silently. As I approach the gate, Bai bares its teeth and growls. Vestiges, the monsters I had seen in the interdimensional void. These creatures are apparently called vestiges. Bai raises its front paw to strike me. I walk on without care, hands clasped behind my back, lost in thought. Wo Wang, its paw rushes forward, but in the next moment, the dark curse spells I am wearing completely melt its paw. The creature screams and twists its body, while I calmly continue to dissolve Bai's body in advance. At the same time, I analyze the energy I feel from the creature. It certainly resembles those from the interdimensional void. I ask Bai Yul. Do you know what vestiges are? Yes, my lord, tell me about it. Understood. Vestiges are shells. His explanation continues. Vestiges are the shells the entering nirvana true persons Gen Ren, the quasi-immortals Zun Xian must shed when undergoing ascending metamorphosis Yuwa into true immortals. These husks are mostly discarded in the interdimensional void, surviving for millions of years, attacking those who traverse the void, and over time, they break down, weaken, and eventually turn to dust that is expelled into the astral realm where they nourish the births of new stars. Monsters of the interdimensional void. That these vestiges are actually the discarded remnants of entering nirvana cultivators undergoing ascending metamorphosis into true immortals is intriguing. It's a new fact. From the integration stage, a small world Shao Shijia begins to form within the body, and by the entering nirvana stage, even the discarded husks become powerful enough to be considered small worlds. If these are the shells left behind during ascending metamorphosis, the Tao on earth and the Tao of this world are distinctly different. Yet, there were many similarities, and ascending metamorphosis is one of them. So, the physical bodies that the entering nirvana cultivators have been training up to ascending metamorphosis turn out to be these shells. Is that right? Correct. One can say they are essentially the remains of the bodies of those entering nirvana true persons. As I listen to the explanation about vestiges, I finally succeed in breaking through Bai's body to the other side. SSSHH. Despite walking rather slowly, it seems I am the first to arrive. Behind me, other cursed sorcerers are screaming and trying to pierce through Bai with various curses, but it seems futile. The path I had made through Bai writhed and regenerated in an instant. Hello, sir. Please tell me your name and the sect you belong to. The boy who had summoned Bai approaches me with a smiling face and asks. Seo Li, I am from the Black Ghost Valley. Understood. The boy records my name and moves on to the next cursed sorcerers arriving, asking for their names and affiliations. That boy. I noticed something peculiar in the boy's eyes. A practitioner of heaven and earth dual cultivation. Within his small stature, I can feel the powerful life force of the earth tribe and the strength of the heaven tribe. Strangely, the boy's power is such that the forces of the heaven tribe and earth tribe conceal each other, making it difficult to accurately read his level. With my experience having attained the three great ultimates, I immediately recognize that the boy is at the grand perfection nascent soul stage. However, those who have practiced only one of the heaven and earth methods might not recognize the level of this formidable character. How long have I been observing the boy? Soon, 3,000 cursed sorcerers managed to get through by and gathered in the square beyond the main gate of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. The boy waits a moment, then once the commotion behind by completely ceases, he speaks. It seems the others have given up. Well, as those who know may know, there is a minimal reward for those who have passed through the main gate. However, to take on the main task, we need to further filter out candidates through several tests. Please understand. Then, a series of tests to examine the curses of the cursed sorcerers ensue. I am the first to break through in each test, surveying the surroundings. The curses used by the cursed sorcerers in the tests seem to be flowing somewhere. The mystical scaled fish commanding sect seems to be accumulating the curses somewhere. If they condense the curses of all these capable individuals, a truly terrifying curse might be born. It's akin to GU poison. Gathering curses and confining them in one place to create a malicious curse. What exactly are they planning to do with such a curse? As I ponder this, only the stated 10 individuals remain, with everyone else having been eliminated. Then, we have 3 cursed sorcerers from Black Ghost Valley, 4 from the former Yin Soul Ghost sect, 1 cursed sorcerer from the Radiant Light sect, 1 from the Desolate Ghost sect, and 1 loose cursed sorcerer. All 10 of you have gathered here. As some of you may know, our mystical scaled fish commanding sect values capable individuals. Even if this mission fails, we want to maintain a good relationship with those who have gathered here and will provide an advance payment. The boy hands each of the 10 of us a storage scroll. Ha, ha, to receive such compensation in addition to the promised merit. Typical of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. I too am impressed by the generosity of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. I know they made a huge commission mediating trade between the human race and earth tribes, but the amount is enormous. I marvel at the spiritual stones contained in the storage scroll. Even I, who is generally indifferent to wealth, am taken aback by the amount. Ahem, then please explain the mission. A cursed sorcerer from Black Ghost Valley at the Heavenly Being stage clears his throat and requests. Yes, I will explain. As those present may have noticed, we are indeed collecting the curses of cursed sorcerers. Like a GU jar, we intend to confine and create a monstrous curse. We are currently enhancing and amplifying the curse through the sect's grand formation. A sinister-looking man, apparently a cursed sorcerer from the Yin Soul Ghost sect, licks his lips as he speaks. Since the mystical scaled fish commanding sect isn't exactly overflowing with cursed sorcerers, are you asking us to handle that curse? That's correct. After helping us amplify and strengthen that curse, you will then launch it towards coordinates we will provide later. Well, it should be easy if it's just that much. Handling such a powerful curse might even help open our eyes to new possibilities, which would be beneficial for us too. I hope this takes as long as possible. The cultivator from the Yin Soul Ghost sect strokes his chin and nods in satisfaction. Then, the heavenly being cursed sorcerer from Black Ghost Valley sneers at the remnants of the Yin Soul Ghost sect. That's right. The longer, the better. We're quiet now because of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect's reputation, but as soon as the mission is over, you'll be transported into our custody. The remnants of the Yin Soul Ghost sect scoff back. Stupid fools. This is a cursed puppet made from Jiangxi, you idiots. Try catching a cursed puppet all you want. Do you think you can easily eradicate us? Hoo. The cowards who only run away and get thrashed in a proper fight are talking big now. It's not you we fear but the nether crossing ship. Without it, you're nothing. Hey, if it bothers you so much, why don't you bring your own sacred artifact? Pathetic excuses for losing your own, really. Sparks seem to fly between the remnants of the Yin Soul Ghost sect and the elders of Black Ghost Valley. At this, the boy from the mystical scaled fish commanding sect steps in to mediate. It's all well and good, but I'd appreciate if personal discussions can wait until after the mission is over. At his words, both groups glance at each other briefly before turning away. Then, the official mission will start tomorrow, so for today, please rest and recover from your journey at the accommodations we have provided. The boy leads us to the accommodations provided by the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. We also receive permission to tour some parts of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect that are not strategically sensitive. Curious about this, I explore various parts of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. The mystical scaled fish commanding sect is quite large. It's a sect with a long history, after all. A clone of the boy accompanying me smiles and speaks. The boy created a clone using the 4 symbols nascent soul technique to guide me through the less sensitive areas of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. While I walk around the grounds of the sect with him, we arrive at the outskirts. There, near the outskirts, I discover an enormously vast valley. Interestingly, the valley is rich in heaven and earth spiritual energy, and the slope isn't too steep, making it not too difficult to build structures there. Yet, there are no buildings of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect, nor any signs of human activity. In front of the valley, there's an image of a flood dragon, which is the symbol of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. Why is this valley left so empty? The spiritual energy is dense, and it seems fine for construction. At my words, the boy gives a wry smile and explains. It's a legend that those who know may know. In fact, the original site of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect was where this valley now lies. Initially, it wasn't a valley but a mountain range. Is there a story behind it? Yes, it's related to the founding of our sect. Our sect's symbol is the flood dragon. However, our symbol was different when founded. A different symbol? Yes, it was a black snake biting its tail. Since our founder is the Black Dragon King, it was presumptuous to use the dragon as a symbol directly. It was also problematic to use a symbol too unrelated to him. So, if he is a dragon, we would follow him as a serpent, and thus the black snake was adopted as the sect's symbol. The boy continues explaining. However, the issue arose after the Black Dragon King attended the founding ceremony of our sect. He saw the symbol of the black snake and became violently enraged, scolding us for choosing such an ominous and grim symbol. The Black Dragon King was enraged. He is most likely the leftover of a true immortal. In my past life, he showed a demeanor of fearing nothing even in the middle realm, and indeed he behaved as so. But what could be the reason for such anger to use the phrase, violently enraged? Eventually, the Black Dragon King demolished the sect's old hall along with the mountain range, creating the valley. He then forbade the use of any grim and terrible symbols like the black snake ever again and personally crafted the symbol of the flood dragon before leaving. Since then, the black snake has become a taboo along with the old site. I see. I finally understand the words of the Demon Beast Methods merchant when I bought the Serpent Race method for Hong Fan. The mystical scaled fish commanding sect considers the black snake to be ominous, and serpent race methods are always sold off cheaply by the merchant. It seems likely related to the Black Dragon King Hyeonium. The Black Dragon King saw Yian's Yian and was furious, asking if an entering nirvana entity interfered. Does that mean the symbol of the black snake is also related to an entering nirvana true person? It seems right to think so. Or maybe it's not about entering nirvana entities. In the worst case, it might be related to true immortals. I assume the worst case scenario and concentrate my consciousness back to the main body. How is it, Hong Fan? Have you felt any issues while practicing Demon Beast methods recently? What kind of issues do you mean? As Hong Fan had just arrived and we were talking, I directly asked him. For instance, feeling as if someone is watching, or suddenly not feeling like yourself, feeling some kind of call, or something growing inside you, any of that. At that, Hong Fan laughs heartily and says, "Not at all. I haven't felt any problems, Master." Is that so? If Hong Fan felt no issues, then the likelihood of the being related to the black snake being a true immortal seems reduced. It seems more likely related to an entering nirvana entity than a true immortal. Alright, there's no discomfort, right? Yes, none. However, I feel a bit stagnant in my poison arts recently. Is there something you need? I've already found what I need. I went to the underground information exchange and successfully located the source of the necessary poison I require. Watching Hong Fan continue to grow independently, I smile contentedly and say, "If you need spirit stones, just ask. I'll provide as much as you need." I thank Master for his kindness with my heart, but I am fine. The owner of the poison I need has issued a task related to the manufacture of a highly potent poison. Once I complete this task, he has promised to give me the poison I want. To make the poison he desires, it seems I have to go deep into the territory of the Earth Tribe's True Dragon Alliance. Hong Fan asks me cautiously as he looks at me, "Would it be alright if I went as far as the Earth Tribe territory?" If you do not permit it, I will not go. Why wouldn't it be? If it helps your growth, go ahead. Thank you. Hong Fan's rescue of me from the dream induced by the owner of Salt Mountain using formless poison left a deep impression on me. His growth will ultimately benefit me as well, so it's a good thing. By the way, what kind of poison does the person from the Earth tribe want from you? It seems to be a type of scattering cultivation poison. The client seems to want a poison that can bring down even an integration stage grand cultivator, but it will depend on the quality of materials they provide. It seems they're planning something big. A poison that can affect an integration stage grand cultivator sounds terrifying just to think about. After encouraging Hong Fan, I sent him on his way. Soon after Hong Fan leaves, Jaeon Myung-hoon enters my cave residence. So, you had something to discuss. Jaeon Myung-hoon smirks and gets straight to the point. I plan to go to the Nether Ghost Realm. And to get to the Nether Ghost Realm, I will need the assistance of the Black Ghost Valley. I can help, but it might take some time. No, it's fine, maybe I can even go right now. What Jaeon Myung-hoon says next truly surprises me. Through the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect who went to the Nether Ghost Realm, I found out where Kong Min-hee is. Chapter 293, Avenger 3. Kong Min-hee, I respond, slightly surprised. Even though Seo Lee's investigation into Black Ghost Valley didn't yield any information beyond her general location, she's still difficult to locate. It seems that the disciples sent to the Nether Ghost Realm have news about Kim Min-hee, indicating she might be in the Nether Ghost Realm. Is she perhaps in the Nether Ghost Realm? No, to be precise, she's on the path, heading from the Bright Cold Realm to the Nether Ghost Realm. A path to the Nether Ghost Realm. That's the first I've heard of such a thing. The True Devil Realm, being adjacent to the Bright Cold Realm, has many paths leading to it. Every major sect has at least one or two entrances to the True Devil Realm, given its proximity. However, realms like Ancient Force, Purple Gold, and Nether Ghost are all quite distant, making formal pathways difficult to establish. Understanding my confusion, Jaeon Myung-hoon adds more information. It's a very peculiar path that opens only through the Nether crossing ship. According to the information received from the Nether Ghost Realm disciples, it's more of a side path than a formal path. A side path. If a hole is made in a dimension, that becomes the entrance to the dimension. But how could there exist something like a side path in a dimension? Well, I guess I don't need to know the details. It's not like I'm going to be creating side paths myself. So, you're saying we should use this side path through Kong Min-hee? Yeah, try contacting Kong Min-hee. She won't turn down a request from old colleagues, would she? Why are you asking me to contact her? Why don't you do it? At that, Jaeon Myung-hoon grins and says, I saw many things flash before my eyes when I ascended to the nascent soul stage. Most passed by quickly, so I don't remember everything, but some memories are still vivid in my mind. And, one of those memories from our company days was that Kong Min-hee really disliked me. Well, the only person who was outwardly friendly with Jaeon Myung-hoon was Oh Hai-seo. But his next words leave me speechless. And I remember during the early days at work, you and Kong Min-hee were the closest. You always backed each other up well, even during discussions at the Ascension Path. So, maybe she'd listen to you, since you were close. Me and Kong Min-hee being close, yeah, that was true in the beginning. That's why I'm asking you to do it. If I contact her again, given Kong Min-hee's temperament, I'm likely to get a mouthful of curses. Quote. If I contact her, it might not just be a mouthful of curses. She might just hang up on me right away. But then I reconsider. No, it's been nearly 100 years, would Kong Min-hee still feel uncomfortable about me? It's such an old issue that my own feelings about it have faded, but I'm unsure how Kong Min-hee might think of me now, which makes contacting her directly awkward. Nor does it feel right to talk about that time to Jaeon Myung-hoon without Kong Min-hee's permission. Now that I've taken the position of Grand Cultivator, I guess she might agree to meet if I formally contact her through Black Ghost Valley. Suddenly, I become curious whether Kong Min-hee's feelings towards me have truly faded or not. Should I try contacting her? After Jaeon Myung-hoon's persuasion, I contemplated whether I should reach out to Kong Min-hee. In the early days, after all, Kong Min-hee and I had secretly dated within the company. Blink. I open my eyes. Both my main body and I share a common sentiment when it comes to Kong Min-hee. I wonder what Kong Min-hee thinks of me now. Kong Min-hee and I had a strange relationship. Initially, as fellow new hires and batchmates at the company, we both harbored a strange fascination with the idea of having an office romance. So, we started dating on the way home from our first company dinner with the thought, shall we try it? And we broke up after just 3 weeks. We were horribly incompatible, and as is often the case, we quickly became awkward around each other afterward. Being in the same department, even if it was just a 3-week relationship, the presence of an ex-boyfriend and ex-girlfriend in the same space was suffocating in itself. While Kang Min-hee managed to maintain a cheerful appearance professionally, she was difficult to get close to personally, not feeling much attachment to the company. I, on the other hand, was the opposite, getting along with Yun So-kung and other department members despite Jaeon Myung-hoon's harassment. So, after a brief and awkward discussion, Kang Min-hee decided to resign. However, before she submitted her resignation, a project proposal she had written out of boredom caught the eye of the president of SJD Company, who was so impressed that he publicly praised her and raised her initial salary level by 3 grades. She was quickly slated for a managerial position, and unable to pass up the opportunity, she decided to stay, enduring the awkward relationship with me while aiming for a department transfer. Of course, the department transfer failed due to Jaeon Myung-hoon's tricks. I was also beginning to grow fond of the company at that time, and I decided to stay because I wasn't sure if I could succeed in finding another job. Thus, we coexisted awkwardly, and Kang Min-hee, climbing the ranks faster than I did, began to openly ignore and dislike me. Beyond awkwardness, we really disagreed on everything. Since our desks were close, I used to ask her work-related questions occasionally, but at some point, I started going to Yun So-kung instead. Moreover, our relationship had been half driven by a fascination with office romance and half by the excitement after the first company dinner, so there was no real affection between us. We literally became like oil and water. Looking back, the reason I could endure Jaeon Myung-hoon's bullying wasn't so much because of my strong mentality, but rather because I was more concerned about my suffocating relationship with Kang Min-hee, that I hardly paid any attention to Jaeon Myung-hoon. Our bad relationship persisted, even during Ascension Path. She would smile when interacting with me but always avoided me when any tasks needed to be done. On the first day, the reason Oh Hae-seo and Kim Yeon found a place to stay with me while Kang Min-hee went off with others to find the car was all because of that. Those are memories too, I chuckle as I return to my lodging. That's already a memory from thousands of years ago. A time when I was no different than an infant. However, since the events concerning Kang Min-hee happened only about 100 years ago, it's hard to tell what she thinks of it. Quote. Leaning against the wall, I ponder for a moment before deciding to delay contacting Kim Min-hee directly through my main body. For now, I'll gather some information as Seo Lee. If she's the same as before, liking and disliking the same things, she'd think the same about me too. If she's changed, there's a chance her thoughts about me have changed too. I head to the residence next door and greet the elders of the Black Ghost Valley. Junior Seo Lee greets the elders of the Black Ghost Valley. Ah, a polite lad. Hee, we saw everything during the test. You are far superior in curse techniques than those of the Yin Soul Ghost sect. It's great to see such talent enter the Black Ghost Valley. They attempt to pat my shoulder, but I subtly avoid it and ask a question. By the way, there's something I'm curious about. Since I am a newcomer, may I ask seniors a question? Upon my greeting, the 2 curse sorcerers at the Heavenly Being stage of Black Ghost Valley look puzzled and ask. Weren't you appointed a temporary Ghost King companion as a new Yin Soul disciple? Look here, senior, haven't you informed this junior the basics of the Black Ghost Valley? They ask, sensing the Yul within me. But it wasn't that I didn't want to ask Yul. I asked Yul about Kim Min-hee whenever I had the time, but Yul only said, I've heard of the name. Yul is quite an old soul, after all, and said he hasn't been interested in recent disciples or current operations of Black Ghost Valley. Ah, juniors, don't misunderstand. This old man just isn't very interested in the sect's minor or major matters other than merging with the Yin Soul Ghost sect. I've been around for too long. Ah, I see, it's understandable for an ancient Ghost King. The Heavenly Being stage elders, Wee Hun and Gu Bun, tell me to ask if I have any questions. First of all, who is the highest leader of the current Black Ghost Valley in the Bright Cold Realm? Who might they be? The one with the highest realm is the Grand Perfection 4-Axis Stage Black Grand Elder Jae Ryu, who is one step into the integration stage. He passed away 3,000 years ago and is enshrined in the Grand Tomb Domain as a Ghost King. He is on the verge of the integration stage but has already abandoned his human body, and if he reaches the integration stage, he'll transfer to the main branch in the Nether Ghost realm, so he's practically non-existent. The next in line are the mid-4-axis stage Black Grand Elders Haoi and Hao Ryong, and Black Grand Elder Hao Gwak at the early 4-axis stage. They are essentially the top leaders of the valley. His explanation continues. Upon hearing the explanation, it seems that Black Ghost Valley operates under an oligarchic system where multiple Black Grand Elders handle matters collectively, unlike sects like the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect or the Azure Heaven Creation sect where one sect master makes all the decisions. I see. Then, who are the key figures of the valley? Well, the various hall masters of the Yin Soul Hall, Ghost Soul Hall, Corpse Soul Hall, Gate Soul Hall, and Duty Hall are all positioned under the Black Grand Elders. The Yin Soul Hall manages the Nether Crossing ship and navigation. The Ghost Soul Hall handles cultivation methods and the management of Ghost Kings, as well as rituals towards the Netherworld and communication with the main branch of the Nether Ghost realm. The Corpse Soul Hall manages the sect's discipline and laws. The Gate Soul Hall manages entry into the sect and overall administration. The Duty Hall is responsible for distributing various sect tasks in a mission format and managing rewards. Elders, in your opinion, which of the recent disciples of the Black Ghost Valley have stood out the most? After thinking for a moment, they say, well, not a disciple, but if you count the recent arrivals, there's really only one. Indeed, although many exceptional individuals have joined, the most outstanding is definitely that person. I read Weihun and Gubun's intent. They clearly hold respect for this person. The current Deputy Hall Master of the Ghost Soul Hall, Grand Perfection Heavenly Being Elder Kong Minhee is that person. A remarkable individual indeed. It hasn't even been 100 years since she started cultivation, and she is already transitioning from the Heavenly Being stage to the 4-axis stage. Wow, is she not even 100 years old? Yes, she's indeed very promising. As soon as Kong Minhee is mentioned, my eyes light up, and I ask about her. That's impressive. How can one enter the Yin Soul Hall, Ghost Soul Hall, and the like of the Black Ghost Valley? To enter one of the 5 great halls, you first need merit points. If you accumulate over 1,000 merit points, you can choose to enter one of the halls. Otherwise, becoming a Heavenly Being Elder allows you to become a Hall Master and enter. Either gather merit points or become a Heavenly Soul. I resolve to accumulate merit points or reach the Heavenly Being stage as quickly as possible. After hearing more information and anecdotes about Kong Minhee, I return to my lodging to think. Kong Minhee hasn't changed since 100 years ago. That likely means that the awkwardness and discomfort she feels towards me probably still lingers to a significant extent. Then, I might have no choice but to leave it to Jaeon Myung-hoon. You want me to contact Kong Minhee? Yes, you probably already know, but about a year and a half before we fell to Ascension Path, Kong Minhee and I had a big fight. Ah, that one. I've heard about it from the director. You two were shouting at each other in the office, right? Yeah, but now that I think about it, that happened during work hours, so why do you know about it? That's not important. But ever since I stopped her department transfer through my uncle, she almost never spoke to me again, and you want me to contact her? I sigh at his lack of response. Jaeon Myung-hoon and me. That would be the worst combination for Kong Minhee. Given her personality, if we both ask her to help us use the side path, she will sternly refuse. The two people she dislikes the most asking her for a favor, why would she agree? And I don't want to force her to open the side path for a mere couple disciples from the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. I feel an increasing sense of dissonance but choose to ignore it. Well, can't help it. If that's the case, I'll try talking through someone else. Who? Kim Yeon. I stand up. I was planning to go save her anyway, but I guess I'll have to go a bit sooner. Escaping won't be hard now. Come with me. We're going to meet the Mad Lord. Translator notes. I'm changing Mount Tai Emperor splitting technique and owner of Mount Tai to Great Mountain. I got confused because Great Mountain Tai Shan also translates to Mount Tai, however after doing some more research, it's a different Mount Tai from the famous 1 Tai Shan. Chapter 294, Avenger 4. It's strange. It's definitely strange. No matter how many times I see it, the main body is not normal. Describing the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect as mere. Why, this is a completely different sentiment from when I used to shout for the lives of the disciples. However, to say that the heart itself is somehow twisted, the feelings towards Kang Minhee and Kim Yin remain unchanged. I wondered if it might have been influenced by Yang Soo-jin's non-human theory, but even when I concentrated my consciousness in the main body and recalled Buk Hyung-hwa, those feelings remained the same. Single quote. Is this really just an overreaction? However, I can't ignore this sense of dissonance. Well, there's nothing I can do about it. I need to quickly elevate my own cultivation and attain a high realm so I can observe my consciousness with higher level consciousness methods. After making that decision, I close my eyes and continue to train in the Ghost Immortal Kui Devilish Secrets. The main body, along with Jaeon Myung-hoon, are discussing joining the Grand Cultivator meeting and are looking for a teleportation array to visit the Mad Lord, while I close my eyes and concentrate my consciousness on the nascent soul that was transformed into a Ghost King through the Ghost Immortal Kui Devilish Secrets. Kururururu. By Yul, next to my Ghost King transformed nascent soul, trembles as it helps me condense the aura of death. Death begins to densely cluster beneath like the silt at the bottom of a river, pressing into the interior of my nascent soul. Shortly after, an intense blue ghost fire ignites from the eyes of the nascent soul, similar to that of Song Jin. And then, suddenly, Wo Wang, I feel a strange sensation, as if I am breaking through my upper dantian. This is maintaining the sensation. I open my eyes, and the surrounding world appears different. The lodging suddenly took on a gray hue. The more I focus my mind, the more I see black lines appearing among the gray hues. When I focus on a piece of pottery in the lodging, the lines on it gradually increase, forming what looks like cracks. As I continue to concentrate on this sensation, the cracks eventually spread its territory, completely darkening the vase. At that moment, I'm startled and turn off the sensation. What was that? It seemed like I saw something terrifying beyond the pitch-black cracks. By Yul, explain what sensations one gains when becoming a Ghost King. Yes, there is only one. It has long been known historically in the Ghost Path method that the Ghost King perceives the netherworld. You would surely know, my lord, but let me recite my humble knowledge. The gray world visible only to the dead is the outer boundary of the netherworld. The outer boundary of the netherworld. Yes, the black lines you see there represent rest, or death. If you look closely, these black lines float above objects and spread in the form of cracks. That is the form of death that the object takes. I see. I recall how the lines had spread in the form of cracks on the vase. Surely, when the vase breaks, it will break along those cracks. That is the fate of the vase, its imminent form of death. As the form of death covers an object more and more, does the object approach death and die when completely covered? Exactly. It's a unique vision of ghosts, completely different from the visions that the Heaven, Earth, and Heart tribe possesses. We call it nether perception, Ming Wei. I don't ask further but I understand immediately. When viewed through nether perception, if an object is completely covered by the form of death, it turns completely black. And beyond that blackness is surely that terrifying feeling. When one completely traces the form of death through nether perception, the black area that appears, that black area is precisely the netherworld. Is that so? I ponder for a moment then close my eyes before activating nether perception. With enhanced consciousness, I observe my own body. And I can't help but be startled. Even without focusing the nether perception, my body is already completely black. Single quote. I see. Am I already deceased, Wang Zi? Having said that, my Ghost King turned nascent soul still carries a faint gray hue. I fully understand the principle of the Ghost Immortal Kui Devilish Secrets. It involves absorbing the form of death, present in all beings, turning the nascent soul into a Ghost King residing on the outer boundary of the netherworld. If the deceased practice this, they will remain in the outer boundary of the netherworld and not be pulled directly into its depths. If the living practice this, they can enter the outer boundary of the netherworld. No wonder Ghost Kings are feared as great ghosts. An existence completely covered by the form of death becomes an entrance to the netherworld itself, leading directly there. And the form of death emanating from me. It's immensely vast and deep. I am essentially a moving gateway to the netherworld. It suddenly occurs to me that ghosts might be dragged directly into the netherworld if they come into contact with me. Even though this is just a part of my soul attached with the mysterious bizarre GU, it's already this powerful. If it were the death of the main body, the enormity is unthinkable. This is rather, not so much the living becoming deceased through death, but the darkness of the dead having crawled up from the netherworld. No wonder they fled from me, claiming I'd devour them. And then I realize one more thing. So, Bai Yul has already. I thought Bai Yul was merely residing peacefully within me, perfectly sane and conversing. But that isn't the case. Bai Yul had gone mad. The essence of most cultivation sects is longevity. Although immortality is unattainable, many in cultivation sects aspire to reach to higher realms to extend their lifespan. Black Ghost Valley is no exception. They too desire longevity, even if it means becoming a ghost king to stay in the ninth heaven. These are the ones who didn't wish to die even if they became ghost kings. Yet, looking at myself, it's as if I am wrapped in a death so terrifying that I might well be a death god of the netherworld myself. This is despite being a mere shadow compared to the main body. Bai Yul, in a state of madness, only responds when stimulated. Most ghosts are noisy. I wondered why Bai Yul is so quiet inside me. I feel a bit sorry for him. But still, according to the rules of Black Ghost Valley, he needs to stay inside a new disciple for a certain period, so please just bear with it a little longer. After that period, he can come out of me, lose the memories of this time, and be peacefully enshrined back at the Nether Crossing Ship Shrine. I comfort Bai Yul in my heart while practicing the Ghost Immortal Kui devilish secrets. Soon, spiritual power begins to accumulate rapidly inside my transformed nascent soul. As I am extracting my form of my death and converting it into spiritual power, I soon realize something is changing. What is this? Wo Wang. I focus my mind and take out the 5 elements blood curse banner. It's a type of consciousness method, and as the name suggests, it also possesses the properties of the 5 elements. TSTSSTSST. The 5 elements blood curse banner quickly merges and dissolves into my nascent soul. As constant as the moon. As the rising of the sun. Long-lived as the 5 great mountains. Late nascent soul stage. I head outside my quarters and, guided, briefly venture outside the mystical scaled fish commanding sect to find a secluded area. Soon, the heavenly tribulation begins to strike, and I regain the level of the late nascent soul stage as I endure it. I return back to my residence with a somewhat dazed feeling and observe the interior of my body. What's this speed? My rapid rise to the nascent soul stage at the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect was clearly due to the cultivation stored in the colorless glass sword from previous cycles. Without the cultivation from the previous cycle, it would have taken me decades just to gather enough chi to ascend to the nascent soul stage. But now, the colorless glass sword is with the main body, and I have none of the cultivation stored from previous cycles. Yet, I was still able to amass enough spiritual power to enter the late nascent soul stage so quickly. I feel dumbfounded by this insane cultivation speed as I continue to practice the Ghost Immortal Kui devilish secrets in the lodge. The next day arrives. Gu Ben and Wei Hun. The 2 heavenly being stage elders look at me with a spark in their eyes. It seems you were hiding your cultivation yesterday. To think you're at the Grand Perfection nascent soul stage. A quite high-level disciple has entered Black Ghost Valley. Haha, judging by the spiritual energy, it seems this one might soon become an elder. Let's greet him in advance. I look forward to working with you, Elder Seo. Haha, it's nothing, seniors. I laugh awkwardly. Single quote. Even if I say I went from mid-nascent soul to grand perfection overnight, they wouldn't believe it, right? Moreover, if I gather just a little more energy, I can reach the heavenly being stage. I laugh awkwardly and, from that day on, follow the duties of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect, enhancing, complementing, and amplifying the curses they manufactured. I see why Black Ghost Valley also researched curses. When I cast nether perception on a curse spell, it appears as an infinitely transparent shape, the exact opposite of the form of death. Gray represents the outer boundary of the netherworld, black signifies the netherworld itself, and the colorless, transparent light symbolizes the living realm. I recall Bai Yul's words as I look at the curse spell. A curse is essentially pain. Pain, being an aspect of life, is imperceptible from the outer boundary of the netherworld. Similarly, blessings also appear transparent. Although blessings and curses seem contrasting, from the standpoint of death, they are essentially the same. It seems ghost kings, whose days are numbered before being pulled into the netherworld, really need curse techniques. These are like wedges, a method belonging to the realm of life, that can hold them back from being dragged into the netherworld. Of course, it will only bring a slight delay for the ghost kings, as they are already deceased and inevitably fated to be pulled into the netherworld someday. After death, as the attractive pull of the netherworld gradually grows stronger, No matter how much they master curse methods or other consciousness methods belonging to the realm of life, they will inevitably be sucked into the netherworld. And this curse, chi. I click my tongue as I look at the curse spell created in conjunction with 9 other curse sorcerers. It's a quite malevolent curse. While delving into the essence of this curse, I realized it's based on someone's deep resentment. I can't exactly tell whose it is, but it's created by overlaying a curse on a powerful grudge. Anyone afflicted by this curse will surely be in devastating trouble. For those below the heavenly being stage, merely touching the curse will not just weaken them, it will completely rot them away. Even the curse sorcerers found it difficult to handle, and gradually, at some point, control had converged upon me, the most skilled among them. I heavily infused my yin soul ghost incantation into the curse spell to train it not to act up without my permission. Ah, have you already stabilized it? The boy who had given us the mission. The boy named Hyongui, black or profound or mysterious turtle, Zongui, laughs heartily as he watches us perfectly control the curse spell. I hadn't expected such good results even from gathering skilled curse sorcerers. Truly remarkable, especially Circio. He lets out a small exclamation of admiration as he looks at me skillfully handling the curse. He seems particularly interested in me for some reason. I don't know why, but I feel it'd be better to make a good impression on Hyongui, so I manipulate the curse spell even more dazzlingly in front of him. The task of strengthening and amplifying the curse spell took several days. After we sufficiently strengthened the curse formula, we were able to take breaks. It felt like we could rest for a day or two after about 10 days of strengthening the curse spell. And every so often, 1 out of the 10 of us could leave the mystical scaled fish commanding sect for external activities without any issue. Of course, only one person can go out at a time, and we were under strict orders to keep silent about the curse production within the mystical scaled fish commanding sect, but it wasn't a big problem. And as time passed, it came time for me to go out. Circio, if you leave, it won't be easy to stabilize the curse, so I hope you return quickly. Hyongui laughs heartily as he sees me off to the main gate of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. Understood. I'm just going out to check something at Black Ghost Valley, so don't worry. All right, then, if you'll excuse me. Just as I am about to borrow a teleportation array to head to Black Ghost Valley, Hyongui calls out to me. Wait a moment, Circio. I have something to tell you. Yes, what is it? Hyongui smiles slyly and speaks in a low voice. There's something I wish to share only with you, Circio. I'm impressed by your skills with curses and would like to ask for a favor. Step. He crosses the main gate of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect and flicks his fingers. Snap. Cha. A surge of yin energy bursts from his body, coloring the surroundings. I realize that a special barrier is blocking the inside from the outside. What is it that you need to speak so secretly about? It's because there are many things to be cautious about. The Black Dragon King has cast spells throughout the entire interior of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect to always monitor us. He wants to see if we are trying to escape his grasp. In fact, this information itself is confidential, and I can't openly share it. It's only after stepping outside the mystical scaled fish commanding sect and casting a barrier that I can speak freely. Hyongui continues with a bitter expression. It is said that our mystical scaled fish commanding sect is backed by the Black Dragon King. You might think that he would treat us well since it's a sect led by his descendants. However, the reality is different. Every year, we must offer cultivators of at least core formation stages sacrifices to the Black Dragon King. If the number of sacrifices is insufficient, the Black Dragon King sometimes consumes one of our disciples. We are not his favored ones, we are his sacrifices and slaves. That's why some of us in the mystical scaled fish commanding sect have thought of this. His eyes glow intensely. Even if it means being degraded from the 5 great sects of the human race, we wish to escape from Hyonium's grasp. Our entire sect is bound by a prohibition. We cannot escape it, but there is a possibility. I swallow as I listen to Hyongui. Talking about such confidential matters, he means to kill me if I don't cooperate. Of course, I'm not particularly afraid of Hyongui in front of me. Although he is a practitioner of heaven and earth dual cultivation, I am confident I can beat him. However, the fact that he is discussing this just beyond the main gate of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect means that there are other sect members nearby who share his purpose. Since Seo Li is a clone, dying isn't a big issue. But, it's a bit of a waste since this clone has infiltrated the Black Ghost Valley. What possibility are you talking about? I decide to listen to his thoughts. In 500 years, the storage scroll of Lofty Dragon True Person, Senglong Gen Ren, will appear in the Chaos Realm, Luanjia. Lofty Dragon True Person, I exclaim in surprise. Is this true? Yes, those who know are already aware. It appears periodically every 2,000 years. I gasp in astonishment. The title, True Person, Gen Ren, can only be used during the entering Nirvana stage. And I am very familiar with the title, Lofty Dragon, Senglong. A legend I learned while living in the Earth Tribe. Long ago, during the war involving the Bright Cold Realm, the ancestor and leader of the True Dragon Alliance from the Earth Tribe who led the Bright Cold Realm to victory. The very territory where the current True Dragon Alliance is established. That is Lofty Dragon True Person. Are you saying a relic left by the progenitor of the Earth Tribe will appear? Yes. The storage scroll he left is not only a Dharma treasure itself but also an alternate world. And we have found an artifact within this storage scroll that can free us from Hyonium. It's an artifact that can lift the prohibition the Black Dragon King has placed on us. However, lifting this prohibition will require an exceptional curse sorcerer. So, you want to recruit me? Yes. If you help us, we will give you one of the artifacts obtained from that realm, and 10 times the reward we offered for this mission. The compensation this time is already significant. 10 times that amount. It's a tempting offer. There's a special prohibition in that realm that prevents even integration stage cultivators from entering, so there's not much risk. You just need to cast the curse for us. I ponder for a moment and then ask him. What kind of artifacts are you talking about? I'll show you the list right now. Snap. As Hyongui snaps his fingers, numerous illusions of items appear before me. As I reach out to the nearest illusion, I feel information about it flowing into my mind. Wow, each and every one of them are incredible. I'm greatly impressed. But having been betrayed by Seo Whale before, I remain skeptical. Such favorable terms. Could there be a trick? The intent seems suspicious. Hyongui still hasn't told me everything. However, it doesn't seem to be anything too significant, an intent that is just slightly unsettling. That's when, among the illusions that Hyongui conjured, I notice a tome bound in the hide of a strange beast, titled in a language I have never seen before. At that moment, Bai Yul inside me speaks. Up, my lord, choose that book as your reward. Is there something special about it? The script written on that book is the language of ghost souls, commonly used in the netherworld, especially by high-ranking death gods. Were you unaware of it? No, of course, I knew that. But why insist on acquiring it? Ah, I see. Perhaps to the noble one, even such an item may seem insignificant. However, that book is a legendary secret manual. The fools of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect do not know its worth, so we should take it. Explain what it is. Bai Yul's following words almost make me jump. As the noble being knows, there is such a thing as the true orthodox axis, not the erroneous method built through the 5 elements. And that ritual scripture of the wealth virtue, Fu Dai Ji Si Shu, is one of the secret manuals known to offer access to the wealth axis among the true orthodox axis. It's practically more of a spiritual elixir in the form of a book. The noble one can already rise with your knowledge of understanding before breakthrough, but gracing the book to the disciples of Black Ghost Valley can lead them to tremendous growth. Quote exclamation mark quote. I receive an equally enthusiastic response from the main body, and without further ado, I choose the ritual scripture of the wealth virtue. This book. Well, it's just a book with undecipherable text to us in the mystical scaled fish commanding sect, so if Sir Seo likes it, feel free to take it. Hyongui nods. It's of no value to us, so I'll give it to you right away as an advance. Wo Wang. Hyongui seems to communicate with someone outside, then splits space and reaches into it to retrieve the book from somewhere. And then I receive the ritual scripture of the wealth virtue. Good. With the ritual scripture of the wealth virtue, I can build the wealth axis. I had once sighed at the thought of having to travel through the middle realms to achieve the true orthodox axis. Fortunately, it seems I will only need to visit 3. I won't need to go to the purple gold realm. True devil, ancient force, nether ghost. It seems like visiting just these 3 later will suffice. You seem in a good mood, Seo Eun-yun. Jaeon Myung-hoon asks with a smirk. Is it because you're going to meet Kim Yeon? Well, that's part of it. How curious. You were so dense at the company no matter how much you were approached that it was weird, but you've noticed it here. Quote. It seems Yian had shown interest enough for even Jeon Myung-hoon to know. I honestly thought you were just gritting your teeth and ignoring it. That's why there were rumors at the company that you're either celibate or gay. What kind of nonsense is that? Where did you hear it? Deputy Oh Hai-seo told me. She said she heard it too, and that it's a widespread rumor at the office. Well, I just thought you were too clueless and incapable of dating. Quote. Thinking I need to pay even less attention to Oh Hai-seo in the future, I jokingly smacked Jeon Myung-hoon on the head, bursting it. Boom, arg, quiet, and, we're almost there. Soon, a bizarre fortress comes into view. Zing. At the same time, I smile at the familiar pulse of the wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon. Yeehaw, it's been a crack. Just then, space tears open, and her arms suddenly spring out. Peekaboo, why have you come to our house? And suddenly, the Mad Lord appears out of nowhere. Chapter 295, Hurt 1. Shiver. I hastily step back and say with a smile. Greetings, old man Mad Lord. Old man, come to think of it, you're that fellow who followed when I ascended. Such an adorable one. So you wanted to be my disciple. What are you doing, dear? Hurry, take this praiseworthy child and let him be reborn. Old man Mad Lord starts manipulating her with wide, flickering eyes. Damn it, let's just say what we need to. Old man, please listen to what I have to say. Do you know that Seo Weol is getting married? What? At that, old man Mad Lord's eyes completely roll back as he yells furiously. No, that's Seo Weol. To hold such an important event without telling me. This won't do. Can't you guide me to where Seo Weol is? Quote. I somehow feel a chill running down my spine. Damn, continuing this conversation itself is exhausting. It's a relief that I know the logic of old man Mad Lord. Yes, I will guide you immediately. First, please head quickly to the wonderfully mysterious fortress and activate the fortress. Shouldn't we hurry and bless Seo Weol? Yes. That's a good idea. Follow me. Old man Mad Lord and her immediately tear through space and enter the wonderfully mysterious fortress, and helplessly under her gaze that cut off my escape routes from behind, I follow him. Then, I leave a mental message for Jeon Myung-hoon to stay outside the wonderfully mysterious fortress before sneaking in. Now, where should we go? Where do we have to go to bless Seo Weol? Seo Weol isn't actually anywhere at this point. It seems better to offer up the Black Dragon King Hyeonium as a substitute. This coordinate will do. This is where Seo Weol will receive everyone's blessing. After giving the Mad Lord the location of the Black Dragon King's cave residence, I step back. Mad Lord's eyes spin once again as he begins to operate the wonderfully mysterious fortress, and soon, the fortress rises into the air. I then shout loudly to old man Mad Lord. I will take a look around this place where I will be living. Oh, yes, you're getting to know your new home. Alright, go and come back quickly to be reborn. Thank you. After saying so, I slip out of the control room of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. I already feel my mental strength depleting. Talking with him is truly draining and I can't let my guard down for a moment. As I leave the control room, I explore the various parts of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Terrifying. The puppets of the wonderfully mysterious fortress pretend to form a society and live. And in various places, puppets are being mass-produced by the factories they operate. What's terrifying is seeing the corpses of what appears to be integration stage grand cultivators hanging everywhere. The corpses of nearly 30 integration stage grand cultivators. And the presence of 6 grand cultivator level spiritual pressures is felt throughout. In my past life, creating that many integration stage puppets within 100 days was possible because there were plenty of materials already. Judging by the corpses of the grand cultivators, if there had been more time, not just 28 but even 60 could have been made. Even though I reach the level of power of a grand cultivator, if Mad Lord loses his mind, I will likely end up hanging there too. If I don't want to end up hanging there like General Seo or something similar, I can't let down my guard for even a moment. Already, there are 6 grand cultivator level puppets made. Even Hunwon would be just a toy to the Mad Lord. At the grand cultivator meeting, I just said I'll be stopping by another place, not meeting up with the Mad Lord, but somehow I ended up deep inside the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Originally, I wasn't supposed to go deep inside the wonderfully mysterious fortress but rather call Kim Yeon from the outside and take her with me, but plans have changed a bit. Well, if the plan has changed, I'll just move accordingly. I know the wonderfully mysterious fortress well enough to find a way. I begin searching for Kim Yeon. TSSTSSTSST. My consciousness resonates through the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon. And I locate Kim Yeon. Pot, Yeon ah. I dash to the spot in a flash. And within the estate formed of puppets, I am able to meet Kim Yeon. Eun-yeon, Oppa, you've been captured too. Kim Yeon runs up to me with a tear-streaked face, and I shake my head. No, I came to save you. What? She looks up at me with tears streaming down her face. What do you mean? How can we leave from here? That's impossible. It might have been possible before I was captured, but now that we've entered the belly of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. I shake my head and take her hand. No, it's definitely possible. We just need to create a moment's opportunity. I feel Kim Yeon's consciousness. Her cultivation is already at the heavenly being stage, and the magnitude of her consciousness reached the level of integration. By the way, Yeon ah, have you completed the homework I gave you? What? I pat her shoulder reassuringly and say, let's see you perform. Is that really important right now? Yes. The chances of our escape depends on how much you've grown. I connected to the wonderfully mysterious fortress through the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon to ensure the Mad Lord can't eavesdrop on our conversation. Shortly after, she takes out a fan from her storage scroll and begins performing the paired wing dance in front of me. TSSTSSTSST. Her movements are those of a first-rate master. At the same time, I notice with delight that her consciousness is moving perfectly in sync with the flow of intent. It's a relief. You've reached the peak. Yes, just like you said, Eun-yeon Oppa. At some point, my consciousness became more finely perceivable, the colors of the intent became clearer. The Mad Lord's consciousness method inherently opens the path to 3 flowers gather at the summit and 5 energies converging to the origin. Therefore, mastering the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon and achieving the pinnacle in martial arts, although a bit forced, has the same effect as a martial artist dedicating their life to reach 3 flowers gather at the summit and 5 energies converging to the origin. In theory, she is already a master of 5 energies converging to the origin. Of course, because the proficiency in martial arts differs, she will likely lose if she were to face a real master of 5 energies converging to the origin in martial combat. Anyway, since martial arts aren't Kim Yeon's main focus, it doesn't matter. The important thing is that from 3 flowers gather at the summit, she can use the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts. This is impossible with just the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon. At least, one needs to be at the pinnacle stage of martial arts to perform the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts. Now, Yeon ah, I'm going to enter within you. Wo Wang, I start to explain while floating a gang sphere above my hand. Given Mad Lord's personality, he'll probably come to the modification room to capture me soon because I haven't returned. And when he comes to capture me, you and I will leave the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Once outside, Jaeon Myung-hoon will appear, and you must run straight to him. Jaeon Myung-hoon's Red Lightning Heavenly Tribulation has a unique technique. It's the technique of returning lightning strike. Commonly called reverse lightning strike, this technique is based on the fundamental properties of lightning. Heavenly lightning strikes from the sky to the ground, and the path created by the lightning allows the lightning to travel back from the ground to the sky. It's lightning returning to the heavens. Based on this property, the technique of reverse lightning strike is often used to reclaim the energy expended in lightning path methods. But in this situation, the best use is to escape. Using the technique of the returning lightning strike, Jaeon Myung-hoon had flown here following his own trajectory, creating a path of lightning. And when we return, we can use the path of lightning that Jaeon Myung-hoon created to go back much faster than on the way here. With my help, that speed will essentially be no different from using a teleportation array. And while I buy time in front of the Mad Lord, entrust your body and consciousness to my gang sphere inside you. Then we can escape. Quote. She looks uneasy. I smile at her and pat her shoulder. It'll be okay. We'll succeed. Quote. Okay, I'll trust you. She hesitates for a moment but then accepts my gang sphere. I merge the mysterious bizarre GU I had implanted in her with the gang sphere, securing a place within her consciousness. Our consciousnesses become even more closely connected through the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon. And then, it happens. When exactly are you coming? You need to come here quick to quickly become a new person of a new nation. Hurry, hurry, hurry. The Mad Lord's speech echoes throughout the entire wonderfully mysterious fortress. Let's go. I grab Kim Yeon's hand, and at the same time, unfold the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon. Simultaneously, Her vast consciousness, controlled by me, permeates throughout the wonderfully mysterious fortress. In an instant, the control of the wonderfully mysterious fortress shifts to us. We have about 3 seconds. And 3 seconds are enough. I draw out the colorless glass sword and hold it in my other hand. Severing mountain. Quadududuke. While the grand cultivator level puppets are frozen, my sword strike pierces through one side of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Qua. I move through the frozen world with her, quickly escaping to the outside. That took 1 second. The wonderfully mysterious fortress is tougher than expected, taking a full second. With the remaining 2 seconds. It's then, you scoundrel to your newnest. What? Mad Lord swiftly regains control in an instant. I grit my teeth and emerge outside the wonderfully mysterious fortress, throwing Kim Yeon with all my might towards Jeon Myung-hoon, who is waiting in the distance. Ah, Yeon ah, just like I told you. I quickly finish speaking and turn back to face the Mad Lord. Click click click. The wonderfully mysterious fortress restarts, and from inside, I sense forces that seem comparable to the entire human race. Mad old man, just how does one become equivalent to an entire race in just 100 years? It's something I see every cycle, but it's astonishing every time. Kugugugu. Centered around her, 6 integration stage puppets appear, gathering strength. Mad Lord, beside her, does not hide his fury as he begins manipulating the puppets. It's done. As expected, taking Kim Yeon prompts him to come forward. I shout with all my might. Even if I leave here, I must land this one blow on the Mad Lord. Old man Mad Lord, we will be borrowing your disciple. We will ensure she grows even more correctly. I position myself and infuse my nascent soul into the colorless glass sword. Please forgive us this once. Flash, sea of righteousness and mountain of grace. My nascent soul turns into a beam of light and strikes directly at the Mad Lord at the center of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Kugugugu. What? In a split second, the sea of righteousness and mountain of grace accelerates viciously, and directly strikes the Mad Lord who is caught off guard. Then, I enter the Mad Lord's consciousness. If Sia Whale's heart essence is hell, then the Mad Lord's is akin to purgatory. That's why, even within it, I feel my mind is not completely corrupted, and I can use all of my remaining strength to clear his spirit. TSSTSSTSST. Flash. At the same time, I feel the Mad Lord's confused mind momentarily clear. It won't last long. Pot. I exit the Mad Lord's consciousness and retrieve my nascent soul. It was a risky gamble that could have ended this life, but it succeeded. Quote. Impressive. What was that just now? The Mad Lord looks at me with eyes cleared of madness due to the sea of righteousness and mountain of grace. I calmly reply. The technique's name is Sea of Righteousness and Mountain of Grace. Think of it as a kind of heart sword. Is that so? He smiles bitterly. Go. Free my disciple from me. Right now, my concern is focused on Seo Whale's blessing, so I won't chase you until I capture Seo Whale. Thank you. He strokes his face. My condition won't last long, so hurry. Go now. I bow to the Mad Lord and then fly towards Kim Yeon and Jeon Myung-hoon. Let's go. Even without displaying the Twin Immortals dance, I reversed his consciousness once. This means I can perform the Twin Immortals dance in front of him later to gain another opportunity. I grab Kim Yeon's hand again and place my hand on Jeon Myung-hoon's shoulder, then activate the Gang Sphere avatar I placed in Kim Yeon. Kurarg. The Mad Lord begins to howl again. The reason is him trying to suppress his madness, but it won't last long. Let's go. Manipulating Kim Yeon's consciousness that reaches the integration level, I complete a technique formula. Her peak level martial arts comprehension combines with the formula, manifesting into the world as a martial art. Record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts. Pot. The integration level consciousness moves, and our very existence is erased from the Mad Lord's perception. Jeon Myung-hoon. Got it. At the same time, Jeon Myung-hoon uses the returning lightning strike technique. Pajijijik. Our bodies are enveloped in lightning, and we travel back the way we came at a speed close to teleportation. Kugugugu. However, as I feel the Mad Lord's madness prevailing, I sense her and the wonderfully mysterious fortress crossing space, coming towards us. I grab Jeon Myung-hoon's shoulder and insert a Gang Sphere avatar into him as well, accelerating him further. TSSTSSTSST. Jeon Myung-hoon accelerates even more, and we move away from the wonderfully mysterious fortress at a transcendental speed. Pot. The wonderfully mysterious fortress recedes to the horizon and soon completely disappears from our consciousness domain. Kim Yeon watches this scene, tears streaming down her face. Quote. Oppa. Yes. I hug Kim Yeon. Congratulations on escaping. Jaeon Myung-hoon watches us while caressing a wooden box he holds close to his chest. Kwaduk. Then, her left arm grabs my leg. Ha. Chapter 296. Her too. Why, didn't he say he's going to go catch Seo Whale? Was he unable to objectify himself? Or does she track me automatically, regardless of such things? Cut off my leg. If she followed me here, cutting off one leg would be useless. Should I fight? How in the world did she follow me all the way here? My mind is entangled with countless thoughts and confusion, and before I know it, we arrive at the place where Jaeon Myung-hoon's returning lightning strike had started. We reach the entrance to a city of various races, where the teleportation array to the human race Grand Alliance is located. Hugh, Huck, it's only then that I can properly grasp her identity. I see, it's not she who followed me. Only her left arm. Her left arm had detached itself and followed me by grabbing onto my leg. With a sigh of relief, I grab her left arm that's clinging to my leg. What is that? That's her left arm. Jaeon Myung-hoon looks puzzled, while Kim Yeon's face turns pale. I wipe the cold sweat from my brow and shake my head. It's a part of the strongest puppet possessed by the Mad Lord. There's no need to worry. It's not for attack, not even for tracking. Wo Wang. As I operate the wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon, I connect to her arm, which contains the sane will of the Mad Lord. I see. It's teaching material for his disciple. Though separated by distance and unable to teach anymore, the briefly sane Mad Lord wanted to teach his disciple even just a little. Within her left arm, in that brief period of time, is not only knowledge about the entirety of the wonderfully mysterious fortress but also various operating methods of the wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon and manipulation methods for the puppets. And finally, it even hints at how to activate Yeon's play. TSTSSTs. I read the consciousness of the Mad Lord contained within her left arm. Gradually, as if entranced, I read his message. My disciple, listen. Suddenly, I see the illusion of an old man sitting in front of me. I already know that you will resent me. You will probably hate me to the core. You might not even consider me your master. All I can say to you is that I am sorry. However, despite everything, there is something I must achieve with your power. The emotion of remorse exudes from the Mad Lord's message. I will not ask for the extravagant favor of forgiveness. Instead, use me, just as I use you. Use the knowledge I have sent you to grow and become as strong as possible. From what I have seen, you also have desires, a loved one. He looks my way with a sorrowful expression and smiles. In the wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon activated to the extreme, I can somehow see a scene behind him. It's an old tree. No, it's a stark, bare tree that had lost all its leaves and flowers on a cold winter day. And on that tree, countless pink strings are hanging. Ah, just what does this scene possibly mean? I don't know the details. Only that somehow, it seems to be related to the next stage of the wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon. In this wonderfully mysterious and beautiful world, I hope you find what you desire. TSTSSTs. For a moment, I can't take my eyes off that wonderfully mysterious and beautiful scene. And then suddenly, my startled body shivers. It's a mysterious feeling. This is the message the Mad Lord left in her left arm. And, as I look at that message, I have a sudden realization. The enlightenment the Mad Lord had placed in the left arm has awakened my mind. I see, there definitely is a problem with my mind right now. Only then do I realize that the anxiety I felt from Seo Lee wasn't just an overreaction. If it hadn't been for the awakening induced by the Mad Lord's enlightenment, I might have died and continued on without ever recognizing it. Thank you, Elder Jo Yeon. After silently expressing my gratitude to the Mad Lord in my heart, I look at Kim Yeon. Yeon, try operating the wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon while holding this left arm. Yes, she obediently follows my instructions. As her wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon connects with her left arm, she too appears to have received the Mad Lord's message. She chews her lips, remaining silent for a while. Her emotions are evidently complex. The Mad Lord, who had modified and used her almost to the point of torture. Had I come to rescue her a bit later, her mind might have been severely affected. However, independent of the Mad Lord, the message left by the person, Jo Yeon, the wonderfully mysterious enlightenment contained within that message, is enough to stir a person's heart. Kim Yeon bites her lips for a while then turns her head. Quote. Are we staying here? No, we'll take the teleportation array here to the human race territory. Then please, let's go there. I want to move for now. Alright, Jaeon Myung-hoon, Kim Yeon, and I leave the place and return to the human race Grand Alliance. What a relief. I sigh with relief and look at the sweat on my hands. When the main body was captured, I could do nothing but sweat and watch over the main body. Fortunately, it seems that I had escaped safely from the Mad Lord, and through the Mad Lord's wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon, I had also realized there's something amiss with the mind. But for some reason, I still feel a lingering sense of unease. Is it simply a mental abnormality? What the main body did was discover the anomaly in the mind, not cure it. I need to find a solution somehow. I need to continue keeping an eye on it. Deciding so, I arrive at Black Ghost Valley to find the Ghost Soul Hall. Since the main halls of Black Ghost Valley are all inside the Nether Crossing ship, I just need to go to the Nether Crossing ship. I enter the Nether Crossing ship and find the Ghost Soul Hall inside. By YUL, you haven't forgotten my instructions, have you? Number. I'll just ask a few things and leave right away. Naturally, with my status and cultivation, I can't immediately meet Kong Min-hee. However, with Bai Yul, a ghost king who was a heavenly being Grand Elder, there's a good chance that a meeting request with her would be accepted. Duck. I knock on the door to the office of the Deputy Hall Master of the Ghost Soul Hall. Shortly after, a dark ghost pokes its head out from above the door. What business do you have? Then Bai Yul steps out of my body and speaks. I have come to meet Ghost Soul Hall's Deputy Hall Master Kong Min-hee. Open the door. Yes, Elder. The gatekeeper ghost immediately bows its head upon seeing the Ghost King Bai Yul and quickly withdraws back inside. Creak. I hide my tense emotions and step inside. SSSS's. The Vice Hall Master's office is cold. It isn't just the chill of the five elements attribute, but a bone-chilling coldness stemming from death itself that stirs my soul. Kong Min-hee's office is quite dark, and blue will-o'-the-wisps looking things are flying around. And there, Kong Min-hee is drawing some design on the floor with dye, paying no attention to me. Seeing her, I suddenly think that she hasn't changed at all from before. If there was work in people, work always came first. Her face, like when she had worked several nights before coming to Ascension Path, is haggard and weary looking. As I look at her, pondering how to start the conversation, I open my mouth. Respected Lady Kong, the elder whom I serve has something to discuss with you. At that, Bai Yul bursts forth from my body with a cough. Ahem, Ghost Soul Hall Vice Hall Master Grand Elder Kong, this is the first time we meet. I am Ghost King Bai Yul of the Curse lineage. With Bai Yul's introduction, Kong Min-hee finally stops drawing her design and looks our way. SSSS's. I feel the atmosphere in the room drop even further under her gaze. Quote. What brings you here, Senior Ghost King? Kong Min-hee's voice is soft and lacks strength. To an ordinary person, it might just seem like a quiet voice. However, as soon as Bai Yul hears Kong Min-hee's voice, his ghostly body trembles as if it will collapse, shivering uncontrollably. It's nothing serious. What is this? I look around with nether perception, startled. As soon as she spoke, the nether perception itself was shaken, and cracks began to appear and shrink in the outer boundary of the netherworld as if they had come to life. Though she doesn't directly harbor death in her soul like I do, I directly feel overwhelmingly inferior to her in terms of commanding death. This Seoli fellow here has recently come to Black Ghost Valley. Well, since Senior Ghost King is with him, that would be expected. He is also an ascender. Elder Heo Gwak has also taken note of his potential. I see. So, the thing is, can you allow this fellow to enter the Ghost Soul Hall? At this, Kong Min-hee looks at me with an expressionless face. How many merit points you have? I answer awkwardly. As of yet, none. I'm in the middle of a mission, but upon completion, I will receive 400 points. Is that so? Accumulate 1,000 points and come back. Or reach the heavenly being stage and I will consider giving you a position. At that, Bai Yul coughs again and speaks. Ahem, while the merit point system is certainly important, you can see this young man, can't you? This fellow has tremendous talent for the ghost path method and, at least consider my face a bit. Senior. SSSSSSS's. Kong Min-hee looks at Bai Yul with an expressionless face. Faint ghost fire is burning in her eyes. If you continue to speak this way, I will report to the Corpse Soul Hall and proceed with enforcement. Please do not create problems with things not permitted by the sect rules. Under Kong Min-hee's stern gaze, Bai Yul begins to tremble as if his spirit is about to collapse. I smirk to myself seeing this. That personality is still the same. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised. A year and a half before coming to Ascension Path, due to a certain incident that occurred back then, she became very obsessed with rules. Should I call it FM? Originally, I was the one who adhered more to FM, while she tended to disregard it. If you have nothing more to say, please leave. You are being a disturbance. She gestures us away. A sinister ghost wind blows, pushing us out. But instead of leaving, I contain Bai Yul within me and take a step forward. Greetings, Grand Elder Kong. I am Seo Li, a recent Yin Soul disciple of Black Ghost Valley. What? She looks at me as if the whole world is a bother to her. You're a person that's hard to tell if you're human or ghost. You're so dark that your original face is barely visible. You do have excellent talent for the ghost path, but that doesn't mean I'll give you special treatment. Leave. Although the Ghost King whom I serve hoped for that, I have come to inquire about a different matter with you, Grand Elder. What is it? Before I fell in Ascension Path, I recall an event from a year and a half ago. Grand Elder Kong, you are in charge of communications with the main branch at the Nether Ghost Realm, correct? Correct. A year and a half ago. She made a significant mistake in a major project and ended up being severely reprimanded. I have one question. The Grand Elder in front of me right now, is this your main body? No, this is an avatar. The main body is located in a side path, absorbing energy flowing from the Nether Ghost Realm to stabilize their cultivation. Stabilizing their cultivation, the main body has reached the 4-axis stage. Thinking about it, this is confidential. Kong Min-hee presses her temples as if she's having a headache. Well, it'll become known once I leave seclusion in the side path anyway. Still, just to be safe, don't go around talking about it. Yes. But it's strange. Have we met somewhere before? I don't think so. Why do you ask? She pauses to look at me and then gets up from near the design, flopping down into a chair beside it. Well, it's strange talking about such confidential things to someone I'm meeting for the first time. Technically, even discussing the side path should be off limits. Never mind. You've broken my concentration now. Might as well take a break since it's come to this. Snap. She snaps her fingers, and the eerie will-o'-the-wisps light up brightly, illuminating the room. If there's something you want to ask, go ahead. I look at her who hasn't changed and ask my question. I would like to inquire about the Nether Ghost Realm itself. Are you interested in the main sect? Yes. A year and a half before falling to Ascension Path, the mistake she made led to a disciplinary committee meeting, and although she wasn't severely punished, she was deeply shaken by the experience. And the next week, on the day of a company dinner following the disciplinary committee meeting, we, who had dated and then broken up in the early days of our employment, decided to get back together that very day. Chapter 297, Her 3. I reminisce about the past while conversing with her as Seo Li. The second time was different from before. I had been the one to ask her out. Kong Min-hee accepted too. It was on the third evening since we got back together. After work hours, I was dumped by Kong Min-hee. Just 3 days in. I snuffed out my cigarette in the smoking area and looked back. The sunset was almost over, and it was getting dim. Are you okay now? Yeah, didn't I tell you? Thanks to you, I've had enough consolation for 3 days. I smirked. In various ways, we had become evil friends, frenemies. She lit another cigarette. Go now. Smoke moderately, man. Hey, you're just an ex now. Just scram. Shoo. Probably no one else breaks up after just 3 days of dating. I chuckled at this bizarre situation. During our first relationship, she was the one to initiate and I the one to end it. But somehow, it was the opposite this time. What dating? It was more like I received some fancy psychotherapy. I'll transfer the therapy fee to your account later. You always have to say it like, what? Feeling regretful now that you're letting me go? Enough. I'm leaving. I opened the door of the smoking area. Kong Min-hee's voice followed from behind. Now that my therapy is done, take care of your junior, you idiot. It's suffocating to watch. Who? Joe. Kim Yeon, you idiot. Joe is a guy, why would you care about him? She's been finding nice lunch spots for you, not because she's Michelin but because she wants to have lunch with you. Quote dot 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 question mark. But we all eat together during company dinners. Why should I pay special attention to Ian? Is she having a hard time lately? Ha, fuck. This stupid bastard. Just get lost. I'm about to explode. See you tomorrow, team leader CO. I waved her, who's talking nonsense, off and turned around. Sure tilde see you tomorrow, Deputy Kong. That day was the last time we were close. After that, we truly became not on good terms, as colleagues. Thinking back, I was indeed an idiot then. I had thought Kong Min-hee was joking about Kim Yeon. Back then, Kim Yeon was just a cute junior to me. Anyway, after that day, my relationship with Kong Min-hee became quite strange. Publicly, we were in a very bad relationship. But privately, although we verbally said we disliked each other, it was hard to truly hate each other. Yes, we had become what you would call evil friends. However, after becoming evil friends, from enemies, it didn't feel as suffocatingly awkward and uncomfortable as before. Quote dot dot dot. Well, that's about all the information I have on the Nether Ghost Realm's main branch. I don't have much information about the Nether Ghost Realm itself, but interestingly, when Elder Heo GWAK reported my innate qualities to the main branch, they said, do not come to the Nether Ghost Realm, which is strange. That is peculiar. With the talent Grand Elder Kong possesses, shouldn't the Nether Ghost Realm be more suitable? That's what I thought, but I've heard, from the main branch of the Nether Ghost Realm, that a higher being is always watching over, so it could be dangerous for me to go there. Higher beings. I recall the information Seo Whale had given me in my previous life. The Nether Ghost Realm is always under the watchful eyes of those at the entering Nirvana stage. It was said that there is a shortcut to the true immortal realm in the Nether Ghost Realm, and for that reason, those at the entering Nirvana stage always keep an eye on the Nether Ghost Realm from the astral realm. Certainly, if that's the case, it could indeed be dangerous for Kong Min-hee to go there. Kong Min-hee pauses and fumbles around her. Click. Soon after, she picks up a long pipe from a nearby table. Light. HSSS's. Then, the will-o'-the-wisp in the room moves and attaches a ghost fire to the end of her pipe. Always smoking in private spaces and areas where she doesn't have to worry about others, some things never change. It's my room, so I'll smoke. Let me know if it bothers you. Haha, it's something Grand Elder wants to do, so how can I possibly object? At my reply, Kong Min-hee pauses to look at me. You, that thing on your face. It's a spell, right? Release it for a moment. Ah, yes, I release the Black Devil Mask spell that has been covering my face. Yuan Yu's beauty is then revealed before Kong Min-hee. Oh, you look really pretty. But your expression is totally different, why is that? Yes, never mind, you just remind me a bit of someone I used to know. Even the way you indirectly say you dislike something is exactly the same. Even as she speaks, Kong Min-hee doesn't put out her pipe but just holds it in her mouth. Blue smoke billows from her mouth. It seems she is using quite a refined spiritual herb as tobacco. If she knows I don't like it, can't she just stop for a bit? Although it doesn't have carcinogens like those on Earth, she often smoked in places like inside cars or indoors as long as it didn't harm others, unlike me who believed cigarettes should only be smoked in designated smoking areas. Even during the 3 weeks we dated, she smoked in her car when we went driving, saying she doesn't consider me a stranger, which nearly killed me with discomfort. It was her car, but that was when I confirmed that she and I really didn't match. I still feel quite emotional. It's been over 2,000 years, yet. The thought that I didn't get along with Kong Min-hee is vividly recalled. Seo Lee, was it? Yes, you have such a strong aura of death around you that I can't quite grasp what your soul looks like, but with your qualities, you should easily reach the heavenly being stage. You'll probably catch up to my avatar in no time. Thank you. With the right support and some good fortune or fate, you might even reach the 4-axis stage within 500 years. Anyway, let's try to get along well from now on. Sorry that the Ghost Soul Hall didn't accept you, it's just our policy, please understand. Yes, of course, I understand. Kong Min-hee smiles and pats my shoulder. Strangely, her touch on my shoulder doesn't stir any strong emotions. Have all your questions been answered? You can go now. I bid farewell to Kong Min-hee and leave her office in the Ghost Soul Hall. Through her, I am able to understand one thing. Indeed, nothing has changed since 100 years ago. Communicating through Jeon Myung-hoon will only be the worst case option. I really did well to bring Yeon along. Kim Yeon is currently registering in Temporal Fate Island and is undergoing various investigations regarding the Mad Lord. I waited on Temporal Fate Island, thinking, if Jaeon Myung-hoon and I were to contact her now, we would probably end up swearing at each other and hanging up. Even if we were to meet by the Grand Cultivator's command, she would smile outwardly, but privately, she'd grow even further apart. Still, Yeon was a junior beloved by everyone in her department, so Kang Min-hee would not likely be stern with her. After some time, Kim Yeon emerges from Temporal Fate Island. Is everything settled? Yes. Reading her intent, I can tell she has something she wants to do. What are your plans moving forward? Quote. After a moment of silence, Kim Yeon pulls out her left arm. Yun Oppa, you too. I don't know how, but you're learning the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon. Yes, I came across it by fate. If so, you must have seen the enlightenment contained in this left arm, right? That's right. She looks at me, and I'm momentarily startled by her gaze. Her eyes are burning with a zeal I have never seen before. I will find out. Squeeze. Gripping her left arm, Kim Yeon's eyes blaze even more with determination. The ultimate teachings of the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon left by the Mad Lord. What exactly does that scene signify? What did he gain, and what did he lose to become such a madman? What could it be? It's a resolve I have never seen in my past lives. Why has she changed from her previous selves? As I ponder, I quickly realize the reason. This life's Kim Yeon, although I guided her, she reached the pinnacle stage through her own strength. What is martial arts? There are many definitions, but one of them is certainly, making oneself stronger. A technique and a study of self-discipline. That is what martial arts is. She rose to the pinnacle through her own power. It doesn't just mean she became a tiny bit stronger. It required numerous acts of self-conquest, overcoming one's own limits. Of course, if that was all, she might have still gone mad. However, by connecting with her and endlessly conversing in her dreams, I prevented her from being tainted by the Mad Lord's madness. In this life, Kim Yeon is in her most perfect state. Discovering the truth about the Mad Lord, and after uncovering it, Kim Yeon declares with firm resolve in front of me, I will seek revenge. Revenge. Yes, the greatest revenge I can take on him. Although Kim Yeon speaks of revenge, her intent appears incredibly calm and devoid of malice. I nod. If she has decided something about the Mad Lord, it isn't my place to question her attitude. Returning to Heavenly Cauldron Mountain on Heavenly Human Island, the Grand Cultivators greet me. Kim Yeon, along with Jaeon Myung-hoon and Hong Fan, has a cave residence near Heavenly Cauldron Mountain to cultivate and train. However, Hong Fan is in the Earth Tribe territory, and Jaeon Myung-hoon is at the ruins of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect almost daily, so the three rarely meet. Now, I just need to make contact with Kang Min-hee through Kim Yeon. Unexpectedly, a Grand Cultivator meeting is suddenly called. I am summoned to the summit of Heavenly Cauldron Mountain. There, the projections of 8 Grand Cultivators are present. Wo Wang. Among them are the projections of Hun Won from the Heaven-Earth Palace and the secretive Tae Yal Jaeon. This is an indication of a matter of grave importance, critical enough to involve Hun Won, who is recuperating in Heaven-Earth Palace and thus makes it hard to send a projection, and Tae Yal Jaeon who is shrouded in secrecy and mystery. I ignore the peculiar gaze that Hun Won's projection casts at me and take my seat. Let's begin the Grand Cultivators meeting. Thank you all for gathering. Cultivator Seo and Cultivator Hun were out, so they might not know, but a report came in recently that we absolutely cannot ignore. The Grand Alliance leader, Jun Jae, starts the meeting with a grave tone. Specifically, the information that Hyeon, the Black Dragon King of the Black Dragon race, a former ally of the human race, has betrayed us. Quote. What the meeting hall is stirred. Wee Ryong Son sighs deeply. Hun Won expressionlessly taps his fingers against his crossed arms. Then, Tae Yal Jaeon, who had been silent, speaks up. Her projection is blurry and difficult to discern compared to the other Grand Cultivators. Regardless, I can tell she is a woman by her voice. Should we punish him as a warning? Let's discuss that here. First, let me summarize the situation. A few days ago, we received a report that the entrance to the True Devil Realm had collapsed. The 4-axis stage cultivators guarding the entrance reported that a dragon named Seo Weo, claiming to act under the orders of the Black Dragon King, caused the collapse. It seems this Grand Cultivator meeting is due to the incident I had initiated. Upon questioning the Earth tribe, it turns out that Seo Whale is Grand Prince of the Sea Dragon tribe and had recently gone missing. Wei Ryong-son was dispatched to investigate the entrance to the True Devil realm, and Wei Su used a soul-searching method to read the memories of those 4-axis stage cultivators. Information from a spy within the Earth tribe confirmed that the attacker looked exactly like Seo Whale, and Wei Ryong-son found significant residues of demonic power and immortal beast strength near the entrance. Jun Jae's statement is continued by the chief military strategist, Wei Su. The recently missing Seo Whale, the mysterious attacker of the True Devil realm entrance, is of the Sea Dragon tribe, a branch of the Black Dragon tribe. The Black Dragon King was pointed out as being behind it, as well as the subordinate sect of the Black Dragon King, mystical scaled fish commanding sect, which is currently completing some kind of curse commissioned by the Earth tribe. Considering all these factors, the likelihood that the current Black Dragon King, Hyeonium, will betray us is high. Grand Cultivator Ung Yian cautiously asks. Could it be possible that the person claiming to be Seo Whale isn't actually him? Perhaps an internal faction within the Earth tribe impersonated him to sabotage. Based on the memories recovered through my soul-searching technique, Seo Whale did reveal his name and backers but tried to destroy the evidence immediately afterward. Luckily, he was poisoned by the 4-axis stage cultivators and had to release their souls. So, while we cannot dismiss the possibility of a framing, it is also likely it was indeed Seo Whale himself. At Wei Su's words, the expressions of the assembled grand cultivators darken. Gai Jin sighs. Black Dragon King, why would someone of his extraordinary combat ability among those at the integration stage choose such a time to act? At that moment, Hun Wen speaks harshly, arms crossed. We should have killed him back then. You all debating his utility and stopping me led to the situation becoming this complicated. It seems that Hun Wen had previously fought with the Black Dragon King and had nearly managed to kill him. Ung Yian recalls something about that incident. Ah, I've heard about it too. Was it 43,000 years ago? Cultivator Hun and his fiancée joined forces to miraculously gain the upper hand against the Black Dragon King and tremendously. At this, Hun Wen suddenly grows stern and glares at Ung Yian. From Hun Wen's projection, I can see a tremendous surge of red intent. The siblings Wei Ryong-son and Wei Su simultaneously speak to Ung Yian as if they have a headache. Cultivator Ung, have you forgotten that it's taboo to mention her in front of Cultivator Hun? At this, Ung Yian coughs and averts his gaze. Ahem, sorry, I've been so busy lately, I must have forgotten. However, Hun Wen growls and snaps at Ung Yian. How could you forget? How? No, Cultivator Hun, my apologies, I misspoke. Busy, are you saying you have more duties than I, the Lord of Heaven Earth Palace? Maybe you'd remember if your eyes were gouged out like mine. Goo. Terrified by the killing intent emanating from Hun Wen's projection, Ung Yian begins to tremble, and Jun Jae grimaces and coughs. But Hun Wen does not lessen his intensity even under Jun Jae's gaze. That's when it happens. Cultivator Hun, with a clear voice, Tae Yal Jaeon speaks to Hun Wen. Suddenly, she is close to Hun Wen's projection. Flinch, and then, I feel a chill run down my spine. Wait, the one named Tae Yal Jaeon. Let's calm your anger. Cultivator Ung is still a young cultivator, only 8,000 years old, so please be understanding. Quote. At her words, Hun Wen appears to flinch, then glares at Ung Yian once more before suppressing his anger. It seems he unconsciously dreads her. Seeing this, Jun Jae speaks to Tae Yal Jaeon. Don't pressure Cultivator Hun too much, Taoist Tae. It was a deeply painful incident for him. And Cultivator Ung, please be careful in the future too, as there was such an incident involving Taoist Hun at the Grand Cultivator meeting a few hundred years ago. Jun Jae seems to be watching Hun Wen's reactions. Reading his intent, it seems he is more concerned about the something related to Hun Wen rather than Hun Wen himself. Tae Yal Jaeon then returns to her place. I stare at Tae Yal Jaeon for a long while, and sensing my gaze, she briefly looks my way, then turns her head with a surprised expression in her eyes. Jun Jae clears his throat and steers the conversation back. So, let's discuss what should be done about the betrayal of the Black Dragon King Hyeonium. At the Grand Cultivator meeting, opinions were divided between those advocating for immediate retribution against Black Dragon King Hyeonium and those suggesting waiting to see how things unfold. Eventually, it was decided to capture Seo Whale and use soul-searching techniques to understand what had happened, while also issuing a strong condemnation towards the Black Dragon tribe and the Black Dragon King. If the Black Dragon tribe does not offer any justification and openly confirms the betrayal, then it was agreed that Tae Yaljeon would go to punish the Black Dragon King, after which the Grand Cultivator meeting was concluded. Then, as discussed, Cultivator, we will convey our message to Hyeonium. With that, today's Grand Cultivator meeting is adjourned. The projections gathered at the summit of Heavenly Cauldron Mountain disappear. Hun Won glances at me briefly before nearly vanishing at the end, and Tae Yaljeon struggles with handling her ill-defined projection. Taoist Tae, are you having trouble managing your projection? Oh, Cultivator CO, please understand. The technique of sending projections or clones isn't my specialty, and I always get confused about how to dispel them. I see. Taoist Tae, may I ask you something? At my question, she smiles. I had a feeling you'd ask that. Everyone was shocked when I first joined the Grand Cultivator meeting, and later, when Cultivator Ung first became a Grand Cultivator, he was shocked to learn my true identity. You might be feeling the same, Cultivator CO. No, perhaps it's a bit different for you since you're like me. I sigh softly at her words. Taoist Tae, are you, indeed, from the Heart tribe? She is from the Heart tribe. And she reached the first step before the throne, that's equivalent to the integration stage at that. Her subsequent words make me realize that Tae Yaljeon is more extraordinary than I had thought. Yes, I lack talent in the path of cultivation, being only at the core formation stage, but I accidentally entered the way of the Heart tribe and was mentored by the esteemed one, from whom I inherited the fighting spirit, finally reaching this realm. Tae Yaljeon, smiling through her avatar, says. As this is our first meeting, let me properly introduce myself. My name is Tae Yaljeon. I am one of the 23 direct disciples of Heaven Collapsing Esteemed One. Wo Wang, I see a vision where the chilling sharp energy emanating from the clone seems to slice through my throat. Srung, the clone grasps the void, and heaven and earth's spiritual energy coalesces to form a willow leaf saber, Lui Dao. Since we've met as fellow Heart tribe members, there's something we ought to do, right? Sweating from the formidable killing intent, I simultaneously feel a dizzying thrill. It would be an honor. Please advise. Earth Tribe True Dragon Alliance. Black Dragon King's Cave Residence. Inside, Hyeonium frowns as he receives reports from his subordinates. Why has everything become so complicated? Where has Seo Weol gone now, and why did he destroy the entrance to the True Devil Realm using my name? He clutches his throbbing head and scolds his subordinate. Damn it, why did it turn out like this? The plan has gone awry. After sitting alone in contemplation for a while, Hyeonium opens and then closes his eyes. He hardens his expression, gets up from his seat, and heads down to the underground of his cave residence. It seems, I need to communicate with the main body. As he descends into the underground, the cave residence of the Black Dragon King falls silent. It stays quiet for an hour or two. Kwang, until a strange beam of light that comes flying from somewhere hits Hyeonium's cave residence before anything else. Clink, 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 clink. A bizarre fortress is flying towards the Black Dragon King Hyeonium's cave residence. Chapter 298, Tengwa. Srung, the willow leaf blade stirs. Junior, how many moves would be appropriate for you? She asks. After all, since it's only a clone, engaging in a prolonged battle would overwhelmingly disadvantage her. Thus, a short bout to gauge each other's capabilities is best. After a moment's consideration, I reply. 10 moves. Wouldn't that be suitable? 10 moves. Are you sure you can handle that? What? 10 moves might be enough to kill Junior. Haha. Her wildly overconfident words involuntarily make me chuckle. Indeed, isn't this the confidence one would expect from someone at the integration level of the Heart tribe? Let's see you try. Fine, if you wish. Wo Wang. Her willow leaf blade cleaves through the void. It's familiar. It's exactly like the style of Jang Ik. It seems no exaggeration to say she is his disciple. She is attempting to demonstrate the same level of precision that borders on insanity. Exactly like his, but different. Heaven Tribe's foresight, Earth Tribe's spiritual energy tracking, Heart Tribe's intent, Kim Young-hoon's perception and the Ghost King's nether perception. Only by using all these senses can I barely follow the trajectory of the fighting spirit she is about to unleash. And by following that trajectory, I understand. Hers is the same as Jang Ike's, but different. Ting, in the frozen world, her words seem to echo. Heart language, clearer and more ringing than any I'd ever heard before. You've seen fighting spirit before, haven't you? From Master, I will not deny it. She notices that I am familiarly tracking her trajectory while preparing a countermove, and her eyes light up with recognition. Lines connected. Following the trajectory of her willow leaf blade, spiritual veins connect like blood vessels. But unlike Jang Ike's four treasures annihilating heaven's blade, Tae Yaljaeon's willow leaf blade doesn't draw in the surrounding heaven and earth's spiritual energy even as it connects these spiritual veins. The magnitude of the energy neither amplifies nor increases. Yet, somehow, I have a dreadful premonition that her decisive move will be far more sinister and terrible than anything Jang Ik had shown. If I can't properly block it, at the very least my body will be torn to shreds. Overwhelming power. A force beyond mere strength, a dominating force. Originally, I had intended to compete only in pure martial skills. But in the next moment, I discard such leisurely thoughts and immediately summon the three great ultimates. At the same time, I take the initial stance of the severing mountain swordsmanship. This is because of the sense of crisis that if I don't counter the attack, my upper body will simply disappear. And then, she begins her attack. Heart and Heaven Tangwa Painting, Xintian Zhenghua 2. 7 Brilliance Kings Qi Hua Wang. The first brilliance, Golden Body Heavenly King Di Hua Jin Shentian Wang. Shiver. In an instant, the trajectory of her willow leaf blade that she created. The spiritual veins within that trajectory suddenly shine brightly in gold. That's. The next moment, she soars toward me like a golden pung, dancing in flight. Compared to Kim Young-hoon's insane speed, the strike is considerably slower. Yet, despite knowing it's slow, I find it impossible to dodge. Quaduduk. Kuhuk. I spit out blood violently, suddenly realizing I have suffered burns all over my body. What is this? Kugugugugu Kwang. Behind me, the shockwave belatedly erupts. I quickly assess my surroundings. Where is this? This is crazy. This place is Temporal Fate Island. With one strike from Tae Yaljaeon, I was flung from the central area of the human race territory on Heavenly Cauldron Mountain to the outermost Temporal Fate Island. Kugugugugu. The atmosphere is torn apart, and the area rumbles with shockwaves. Though my skin burns regenerated quickly, it feels like my internal organs are thoroughly shaken. Considering that Hun Won's attacks caused severe external injuries but hardly any internal ones, Tae Yaljaeon's is the exact opposite. Contrary to Hun Won, there is almost no visible external injuries, but the accumulated internal damage is horrendous. It's coming. I immediately prepare my stance and ready for a counterattack against the killing intent coming from Heavenly Cauldron Mountain. 7 Brilliance Kings. The fourth brilliance, Silver Basket Heavenly King DC Hua Yin Lantian Wang. It's pure chaos, Hun Dun. Great pure chaos swirls before my eyes at one moment, boiling into primordial chaos, Hun Yuan. The sphere of chaos appears both a mixture of white and black, resembling gray, and a mixture of blue and red, resembling purple. What is clear is that yin and yang are so intermixed that they are difficult to discern. Ah, now I see why Hun Won was so submissive to Tae Yaljaeon. Putting aside the Heart Tribe's heavenly tribulation, if Hun Won were to face this, his yin-yang energy, twisted by Yi and Wei, would have gone berserk. I operate the Demon Beast methods with all my might. Adding the aspect of lightning to the Demon Beast methods, I reverse the flow of the method. The exchange of yin and yang ceases, and they begin to scatter within my body. I systematize the dispersing flow of yin and yang within me into the Mad Lord's circuits, making it follow my control. As I take my stance in that state, I suddenly feel the sphere of chaos approaching me. Swoosh. The sphere of chaos is absorbed into my body. It should have been a strike that twists and kills me, but instead, it interacts with the reversing flow of yin and yang in my body, neutralizing it and returning the flow in my body to normal before it dissipates. This is a disintegration method that only I, possessing Demon Beast methods, the Lightning Path method, and the circuits of the Mad Lord, can perform. Impressive. You're the first to dispel it in such a manner. Before I know it, Tae Yaljaeon has reached in front of me. Then can you block the next one as well? The second brilliance, the third brilliance. Continuous strikes. Red Pearl extinguishing Heavenly King Kai Zu Mie Tian Wang. Lazy's Lapuli protecting Heavenly King Lu Li Hu Tian Wang. Red flower flares and blue ghost fire shines from Tae Yaljaeon's two hands. Each carries its own destructive power. Crack. If hit, it will physically separate flesh and bone. However, I am more wary of the other moves she has hidden than the attack in front of me. The willow leaf blade has disappeared. I don't know where it will strike from. Severing Mountain Swordsmanship. Sea of Righteousness and Mountain of Grace. TSSTSTSST. My nascent soul turns into a sword. But this time, it's not for the purpose of infusing it into the colorless glass sword and swinging it. The essence of Sea of Righteousness and Mountain of Grace is not the heart sword, but fusion of power. I literally push all my power into the sword-turned Sea of Righteousness and Mountain of Grace. At the same time, all the power within my body drains away, leaving my body in a state no different from a scarecrow. Because this happens within me, even Tae Yaljeon doesn't immediately notice, and her two palms strike me. However, as soon as the blue and red palms touch my powerless body, they immediately swirl around my meridians and fuse inside the Sea of Righteousness and Mountain of Grace. What? I can feel her astonishment through heart language. Crack. I immediately grab her arms. Impressive. You solved this. How much combat experience does one need to have to solve this upon first seeing it? Tae Yaljeon bursts into admiration and laughs as if delighted, while I, feeling the ominous energy from behind, grip my hands harder. Cut. Her arms are severed as if cleanly cut by a sharp sword. Without hesitation, I initiate boundless doubt to the other shore from within my nascent soul, exploding the fused power and begin performing a sword dance. A sword dance that will kill me if the power is not released. Nothing less than this level of technique will suffice. My sword dance sweeps away her upper body, and at the same time, I block the incoming willow leaf blade from behind. As I see the willow leaf blade, I recall the time I fought with Jang Ik and choose not to unleash further attacks on Tae Yaljeon but instead swiftly exit from the spot. I escape from Temporal Fate Island and once again take the initial stance of the severing mountain swordsmanship from outside the human race territory. And, in that brief moment, a regretful heart message echoes. Did you say you fought with Master? You were not fooled. A dense pinkish web expands in all directions, entangling the spot where I had just vacated. Had I foolishly thought I gained the upper hand and continued to attack her, I would have been crushed within the spiritual vein realm created by the willow leaf blade. Gradually, as I clash with her, I come to understand the feel of the fighting spirit she has realized. Her use of the willow leaf blade is simply because she learned it from Jang Ik. Most of her opponents would likely mistake the willow leaf blade as her weapon and focus solely on it. But having clashed with her, I realize that it's not the willow leaf blade saber method that makes her a member of the Heart tribe. Was it called Heart and Heaven Tangwa painting? I shudder, recalling the name she resounded through heart language. If I'm right, Tae Yaljeon has likely risen through the Heart method itself. In other words, it's like focusing only on the Dragon Vein Chi method and reaching the first step before the throne. Then manifesting and using whatever techniques suit the internal energy cultivation method is needed. The essence of her supreme method is the Chi method itself. Wo Wang. In the distance, the pinkish light rising from Temporal Fate Island begins to compress. It turns into a crimson light. At the same time, her heart essence starts echoing again. Master wants to be the strongest Zui Chang to protect the weak, but I want to be the highest Zui Gao. His four treasures annihilating heaven's blade can absorb heaven and earth's spiritual energy to indefinitely increase its force, but mine is the opposite. Suddenly, as I face her, I realize another thing. So that's it. The secret of her power was there all along. No matter how overwhelming the power one possesses, if it doesn't hit the target, it is meaningless. Hitting the opponent and knocking them down. That is one of the essences of martial arts and combat. I use the formless sword of infinite freedom that ignores defense and evasion. Kim Young-hoon uses the surpassing radiant saber, which is too fast to react. Jang Ik uses the four treasures annihilating heaven's blade, which renders defense meaningless with its destructive power, stabbing the attack directly into the opponent. But her way is completely different. Certain hit by Zhang. Anyone facing her attack can never evade. They must block it head-on. I recall that I couldn't evade her attacks. It was much slower than Kim Young-hoon's attack, but the reason I couldn't dodge it and had to block it. The reason I couldn't evade even once during the battle. It was due to the properties of her Heart and Heaven Tangwa painting. I, on the contrary, connect my heart and spiritual veins to draw strength from within my heart. It's about tapping into the potential inherent in the human soul. Those facing the heart path method she cultivated would see their own potential reflected in the clarity of her heart. It isn't merely a brute force attack with destructive power, but one that makes the opponent confront their own potential using her heart as a mirror. That is the essence of her Heart and Heaven Tangwa painting. It isn't that one can't evade, but if one does, their heart would gradually break, increasing the chances of chi deviation and heart demons during the battle. An absolute technique that forces a head-on confrontation. That is her fighting spirit. That is her martial way. Crack, crack, crack. As I infuse my sword with the exploding energy within me, I look at her. She looks back at me. Heart and Heaven Tangwa painting. The sixth brilliance, agate hatred heavenly king Ma Nao Zong Tian Wang. A wave of crimson light unfolds like a sea of blood. I can feel it. If even a drop of this blood sea touches me, the skin of my entire body will be peeled off. The skin might regenerate, but the essence of the blood sea is, to peel. It might not just strip away the skin, but also the surface layer of my soul. My consciousness would disintegrate, falling to the plane of chi, and my nascent soul would scatter and perish. It's a strike boasting the worst compatibility for cultivators who analyze information through their domain of consciousness. What's this? I suddenly realize that I have analyzed the opponent's move too quickly. Unlike other attacks, this one feels strangely familiar. Why does it feel like I've seen this before? But I can't remember from where. Enough. This is not the time to think about such things. I think of a way to counter the attack from Tae Yal Jaeon. If it's an attack that disintegrates consciousness, then I will counter it with something that cannot be disintegrated. If the previous Chaos Sphere is the worst match for Hun-Won, this attack is one where Hun-Won can actually hold the upper hand in compatibility. Of course, it'd be different if it hits, but Hun-Won can easily nullify this attack before it can strike. Qi cannot be disintegrated. Qi, containing all attributes, is complete in itself, and it's impossible for its attributes to exist separately. Rather, Hun-Won's Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique is a strange and bizarre method that forcibly disassembles such qi. Qi is life, life is history. The history accumulated by one's existence can never be changed. TSSS. A white mist begins to envelop my sword. The power of the immortal beast mixes with the other heaven and heart forces inside the boundless Tao to the other shore. I take a step forward. Simultaneously, a sword scatters in a stopped world. Boom! With a single slash, a person recorded in the canvas of myriad forms and connections raises their hand. A drop of the blood sea bursts. First sword. Another person raises their hand. 2 drops of the blood sea burst. Third sword. Fourth sword. Fifth sword. My sword scatters beams like rays of lights. The white sword strikes extend in all directions like the hands of the thousand-armed Guanyin, emitting streaks of light. Countless beams clash with the sea of blood, and with each clash, a connection from the canvas of myriad forms and connections raises their hand. Each drop of the blood sea bursts decisively. In a sea of white mist, countless connections reach out, erasing the sea of blood. How many times has it been? I unleash an uncountable number of sword strikes. And finally, I can sense that all the power I had fused and ignited within the boundless Tao to the other shore has been completely spent. Pong! But at the same time, as I burst the last drop of the blood sea qi, I have no strength left in my body. The boundless Tao to the other shore has to be used until all the strength in the body is completely exhausted, and as a result, I am utterly powerless. Tae Yal Jaeon clicks her tongue as she looks at me. Other than Master and Hun-Won, no one else has ever blocked the sixth brilliance in such a way. Impressive. I laugh amidst the pain that squeezes my lungs. It seems, this is not the usual way to solve it. It feels like my mind is shaking. I have wrung out so much energy that I feel like I might vomit blood and die at any moment. Whoosh! Floating in the air, I begin to fall as I can't maintain my energy any longer. Outside the human race territory's Cloud Islands, in the rugged mountainous region. If I fall, I will undoubtedly be shattered to pieces. But I squeeze the last bit of energy I have and activate the Mad Lord's circuits laid out beforehand in my body. Although my body is in no condition to move, it forcibly moves like a puppet, amplifying the remaining drop of energy to protect itself. Kung! I completely collapse and struggle for breath. Fortunately, I didn't shatter to pieces upon falling, but I really don't have the strength to even hold a sword. It's hard to even breathe. Tae Yal Jaeon lands on the opposite mountain peak where I had fallen and speaks. Typically, one does not use such a brute force approach, but faces it head-on and endures the disassembly of the soul. By making one's consciousness as close to nothingness as possible and reaching emptiness, one can pass the sixth brilliance as if ignoring it. Master could pass it that way, but he felt that using the technique on him was too outrageous and destroyed it completely. Cultivator Hun's Great Mountain Emperor splitting technique, the compatibility is too malicious, so it inevitably got blocked. The method of bursting every single drop of the blood sea. You're the first one. I can't even grasp how you did it. NKS. I struggle for breath, unable to continue speaking. It's difficult to even utter a single word. It feels as if I have aged 1,000 years in a moment. And at the same time, I realize something. An absolute technique that forces the opponent to face themselves. So that's it. The Heart and Heaven Tangwa painting is. Quote. Those techniques. Having gained insight into her method, and with the thought that I must express my understanding, I squeeze out the strength. Using heart essence subtly squeezes my upper dantian, so it's better to speak normally for now. Not intended to kill. Techniques that separate bones from flesh, flay the skin, or twist the entire body's meridians to cause death, although terrifying in outcome, having directly experienced them, I understand. Nothingness. All of them. If you make yourself into nothingness, all attacks become nullified. An absolute technique that forces the opponent into a state of emptiness to impart enlightenment. Indeed, her entering heavens is a supreme technique intended to teach enlightenment to the opponent. I speak to her about what I have discovered while coughing up blood. Tae Yal Jaeon seems genuinely amazed. Impressive. No one, not even the geniuses of the Heart tribe, has figured that out in a single duel. Only Master recognized the essence and I got beaten up for being disrespectful. Hee, fascinating. You. A sparkle flickers in her eyes. How much asceticism have you endured? It takes insight that can't be gained without focusing on a single thought for at least 1,000 years, enduring pain like a madman. What single thought have you been pursuing so vehemently? Clank, clank, clank. I feel my body rattling as I stand up. It isn't by my will. Yes. My body is essentially just awake in consciousness, it's no different from being in a coma. Yet, my body stood up. Chiang. In this moment, I feel an indescribable sense of unity with the emptiness Kong. A true sense of unity with the formless sword that I have never felt before. Everything within my emptied body fills up with the spirit of the formless sword, moving my body. I remember what Young Hoon Hung Nim had said. Before I acquired the formless sword. That is, during the time of the ultimate pinnacle. When I was training at Shattered Heaven Peak. He said he saw me continue training as per my daily routine even after I had fainted. But I couldn't remember training when my memory lapsed. Then, who had moved my body at that time? I see. You have been with me since then. Even martial arts have a spirit. What I did upon reaching tribulating heavens wasn't bestowing a spirit but merely awakening it. And this spirit's origin is something very familiar to me. For the first time, the formless sword says something other than, cut. Hear the Tao in the morning, die content in the evening. Quote. If I obtain the Tao in the morning, I am content dying in the evening. Transmitting the words of the formless sword through my mouth, I smile. In life, I have merely strived to grasp even one more Tao. What is your Tao? The causes and connections of all phenomena, Wan Shang Yin Yuan, myriad forms and connections. Quote. Tae Yal Jaeon stands still for a moment, then starts forming seals after sticking the willow leaf blade into the peak. Wo Wang, the poorly formed clone, which had not been able to form a proper shape, gradually begins to take a clearer form. Tae Yal Jaeon's main body far away is consuming her own power to reveal herself more distinctly. Her appearance is that of a shaven-headed monk in a robe. She clasps her hands in a prayer gesture towards me. I apologize for trying to teach you rashly. Please accept it. Thanks to you, I've gained great enlightenment. No apology is necessary. Thanks to her, I have learned the true usage of tribulating heavens. Unified with the formless sword, I move to accept her gesture, entirely depleted of strength in the state of emptiness Shu Kong. The Heaven tribe and Earth tribe at the heavenly being stage eliminate the boundary between the internal microcosm and the external natural world, drawing upon the boundless power of Heaven and Earth's spiritual energy. However, the third stage of manifestation of the Heart tribe, my tribulating heavens, is the opposite. Allowing oneself, who has gained a heart from within the soul, to summon infinite power through their martial path. That is the proper use of tribulating heavens that I fully realized today. She shakes her head and says, given your level of self-cultivation, you would have realized it soon even without me. I respect the strength of that will. I take a deep breath. With my intent as a conduit, I feel power rising from the depths of my heart essence. The source of this power is unknown. Perhaps the day I discover the source of this power will be the day I understand what the heart truly is. Originally, this force could only be used for my martial arts, that is, manifestation. A typical Heart tribe member would only be able to use their manifestation to fight against an enemy, even if their body is being destroyed. However, due to my formless sword, the Force, that had only stayed at the plane of soul descends to the plane of chi, becoming a life force that invigorates my entire body. Seeing this, Tae Yaljaeon chuckles. Truly astonishing. That power isn't meant to be used like that. To transcend planes and make it possible, your enlightenment is indeed fascinating. She waits for me to recover. We've clashed with the first 6 moves. Shall we try the remaining 4? Sounds good. She throws up into the air the willow leaf blade she had set beside her. Simultaneously, the area around her seems to darken. Heart and Heaven Tangwa painting. The 7th brilliance. Obsidian Demon Heavenly King. As if to express respect for me, instead of making the name of the move resound through heart language as before, she begins to unleash the move by voicing it directly. It feels like black glass is filling the space between heaven and earth. Smooth obsidian surfaces cover everything, and I see numerous reflections of myself in the black glass. Each reflection of mine has eyes shimmering with wicked emotions. It's a move that more blatantly invokes heart demons than the 6th move. A kind of a final test. Through the previous 6 absolute techniques, she made the opponent experience emptiness, and if they can't embody emptiness while being hit at the plane of soul, their soul will shatter like glass. I immediately grasp the essence of this move and calm my mind. This move is purely an attack at the plane of soul, without involving the plane of chi. Likely, even Hun 1 can't dismantle this attack with the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique. It's a kind of illusion. Yet, realizing this is an illusion, I suddenly feel strange. An illusion shouldn't affect me. But upon reflection, I feel confused. Question mark. What's this thought? No, there's no basis for saying illusions don't affect me. But what is this feeling? I feel a strange dissonance lingering in my mind, but even observing myself with the canvas of myriad forms and connections in the formless sword reveals no abnormalities. I'm not sure. For now, let's break this illusion. I calm myself and call forth my heart essence. Though it's baseless confidence saying that illusions won't affect me, I am sure enough not to be swayed by heart demons. Sutsutsu. Soon, the scene reflected inside the black glass begins to change. Instead of myself harboring wicked emotions, it's a mountain. A mountain made of blades. The place where I am drawing power. I am at the core of this blade mountain. Drawing power from someplace even I can't reach. Perhaps, finding where this power is drawn from is the path I need to take. Within the black glass, a glass mountain is reflected. The glass mountain again reflects the black glass, initiating an endless cycle of reflections. And at the end of these reflections, I can see the owner of the black glass. Tae Yaljaeon. The black glass and the colorless glass look at each other. This is her heart essence. Inside her is a Tangwa painting. The 7 colossal heavenly kings are seated inside an enormous Tangwa, Zhenghua, a Buddhist painting forming a circle beneath a white lotus and wearing benevolent smiles. Each of them appears to be a giant deity capable of supporting the sky, yet none move recklessly from their seats, all sitting quietly cross-legged. Below the lotus is not a well but a scorching hellfire, yet strangely, no one seems to be suffering within it. The bizarre Tangwa looks utterly sacred. Oddly, above the lotus seems to be a spot where someone could sit, but it's currently unoccupied. Sutsutsu. Before I know it, I have left her heart essence and am facing her again. Amazing, owner of colorless glass. That is something I should be saying. Compared to the beings within you, I am lacking. Although it's clear she had entered my heart essence, she seems not to have suffered any pain, unlike those who had entered before. Hun 1 was most terrified of the obsidian demon Heavenly King, but you, on the other hand, are the least afraid. Those who have never deceived themselves are free from its gaze. There seems to be no point in exchanging moves any further. Please pull yourself together. I concede defeat. Tae Yaljaeon sits down with a faint smile. Taking a deep breath, I begin to draw in the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to seriously heal my injuries and recover from my internal wounds. At the same time, I ask her about the beings I had seen in her heart essence. Those beings, who are they? Having felt the gaze of true immortals before, I know. They are certainly transcendent beings, undoubtedly existing deities. Tae Yaljaeon is essentially venerating these gods within herself. Did you say you ascended from the lower realms? Then it's understandable you wouldn't know. They are fictional characters from the mythology of the Buddhist path method, only found in the large middle realms. The lower realms, which only have the immortal path, especially those from the decaying corpse realm, wouldn't know about the Buddhist path method. These individuals are known as the 7 Brilliance Kings Chi Hua Wang and are said to descend to the Saha world to bring enlightenment. Buddhist path method. Yes, it is occasionally found in the astral realm and, though it lags behind the immortal path methods in the middle realm, it is a lineage that has been intermittently maintained. The foundation of the Buddhist path method originates from the 7 Brilliances Kings. What kind of beings are the 7 Brilliances Kings? She explains slowly. Exactly as it sounds. They are fictional characters created by patching together various myths and legends. However, they themselves are examiners who come to test the secular world and simultaneously beings that bring enlightenment. This is the personification of fictional concepts as entities rather than real deities. Are you saying they do not exist? That's correct. They are merely fictional concepts. As proof, there are no rituals or ceremonies that can be dedicated to the 7 Brilliances Kings. Thus, the Buddhist path method incorporates the concept of the 7 Brilliances Kings into its methods, but the actual cultivation of spiritual power is borrowed from existing immortal path methods. They don't exist. What does that mean, then? When I face the owner of heavenly punishment, or the feeling when I encountered the heavenly venerable of the netherworld. That sensation was undoubtedly the feeling of real gods. Anyway, to recite their names, they are as follows. The Golden Body Heavenly King, symbolizing the instant. The Red Pearl Extinguishing Heavenly King, symbolizing the cycle. The Lazy's Lapuli Protecting Heavenly King, symbolizing protection. The Silver Basket Heavenly King, symbolizing infinity. The Tridakna Vast Cold Heavenly King, symbolizing unity. The Agate Hatred Heavenly King, symbolizing pain. The Obsidian Demon Heavenly King, symbolizing filth. These 7 beings are known as the 7 Brilliances Kings, the personifications of certain concepts. And, while speaking, she looks at her own body and then says, if you wish to discuss further, there is a temple named Grand Nirvana Temple beneath Heavenly Human Island, at the bottom of the Cloud Island archipelago. My main body is there, so please come to that place. After finishing her words, Tae Yal Jaeon's avatar disperses, her energy scattering and vanishing. It seems she had exhausted all her energy maintaining the avatar while sparring with me. Reflecting on our recent spar, I ponder. The Buddhist path method. I felt that it greatly stimulated my consciousness. Maybe, the Buddhist path method which stimulates consciousness might have a way to treat the abnormalities in my mind. Thinking I should visit with Yian, I get up from my place. Woe duck, duck. Coo-goo-goo-goo. A collapsed mountain range. From beneath it, a dark massive body emerges. Hyeonium, the Black Dragon King, turns his eyes filled with fury towards the one who had destroyed his cave residence. What kind of vermin dares? And then, the Black Dragon King's eyes catch the sight of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Wu Wang, looking at the fully activated wonderfully mysterious fortress, the Black Dragon King's eyes narrow in an instant. Vast cold heavenly lord, how, but the next moment, he shakes his head. No, it can't be. Just who in the world are you? Who are you to have even slightly cultivated a speck of vast cold's power? I have already gathered even those to myself. How is it possible in bright cold realm? Glaring at the wonderfully mysterious fortress for a moment, Hyeonium smirks. Yes, that's it. If it's impossible in the bright cold realm, then it must be the power left by vast cold in another heavenly domain. Then you must be an incarnation of a true immortal of another heavenly domain. Haha, the place where we were annihilated is this sun and moon heavenly domain, yet, how dare you, who is neither a heavenly venerable or light, dare to step foot here? There's only one reason I can think of. Those above must need my power. Do you have a message for me? What message do those above want to convey to me? Speak quickly. And then, a bewildered voice is heard from the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Opening square bracket ellipsis question mark. I came looking for Seo Weol, but what kind of nonsense is he babbling about? Die, click, flash. Along with the sound of something being pressed, 6 beams of bizarre light shoot out from the wonderfully mysterious fortress and strike Hyeonium's mouth. Hyeonium is hit by the strange light and flung backward, his neck snapping in the opposite direction. Chapter 299, Protection 1. Coo-goo-goo-goo. It's as if heaven and earth are boiling. A truly ominous sight as the spiritual energy everywhere bubbles up and turns into dark black water. And as the black water overflows in all directions, the Mad Lord suddenly realizes that he and his wonderfully mysterious fortress have entered within this vast black sea. Wonderfully mysterious fortress. Inside the control room. There, the Mad Lord continuously marvels aloud. Instead of unfolding a domain from within oneself, it's using heaven and earth spiritual energy to assimilate the surroundings with the domain, then unwittingly swapping the domain with the environment at some point. Is this the power of the grand perfection integration stage? Amazing, amazing. This makes for a very good reference. Goo. Then, a massive figure surges from the depths of the Black Sea. It's the Black Dragon King, Hyeonium, who had been struck on the head by the Mad Lord. You dare to stand against me? So, you came looking for Seowaol, which means you are not a great being. Just a mortal who accidentally obtained the power of vast cold. Now that I think about it, I've heard of you. The Mad Lord Joyeon, who kidnapped the Heaven-Earth Palace's inspector right after ascending from that place. Yes, if it's the homeland of vast cold, it's not strange that vast cold left their power behind. Crack, Hyeonium opens his mouth and shouts. Die, you wretched creature worth less than leftovers. Flash, a dark energy gathers in his mouth and shoots out towards the Mad Lord like a beam of light. The dark line flies straight towards the wonderfully mysterious fortress. But the next moment, Boong, her right arm from within the wonderfully mysterious fortress deflects Hyeonium's beam. However, immediately after, another Hyeonium bursts out from under the Black Sea's surface and charges at her, and from inside the wonderfully mysterious fortress, 6 integration stage puppets spring into action to assist her. Despicable fakes. I am not afraid of those who are merely imitations and not truly accomplished. The 6 integration stage puppets move in flawless coordination around her. Encompassing heaven and earth, the puppets block the 6 directions, and she battles with Hyeonium in the center. However, Hyeonium is not pushed back by the 7 integration stage puppets. Instead, he freely draws upon power from within his domain, using its force to suppress the puppets and control the power of the Black Sea. Kwang, Hyeonium's horn collides with her body. She is knocked back, and as Hyeonium charges in with his mouth open. Keying, startled, Hyeonium suddenly senses an overwhelming force converging from the direction of the wonderfully mysterious fortress and frowns. What is this magnitude of power? It's an overwhelming power. Not merely the power of breath used by the dragon race. Though far below the star-shattering stage, it is clearly beyond the power scale of the grand perfection integration stage. If he were to get hit by that, even Hyeonium would suffer a critical wound. If I attack this puppet, I'll be in a perfect position to get hit by that. I'll withdraw for now. Of course, the best strategy against the Mad Lord would have been to capture her and start a hostage play, but unaware of that fact, Hyeonium retreats back into the Black Sea. The beam of light centered at the 3 roofs of the wonderfully mysterious fortress pierces into the depths of the Black Sea, creating a massive shockwave that evaporates all the black water within a radius of 1,000 li, revealing Hyeonium who had been hiding inside. Damn it, even if I've fallen, how can you evaporate the water of the Black Sea, which embodies the Netherworld's waters? How is that possible? Hyeonium glares at the wonderfully mysterious fortress with eyes full of hatred. Goo. The black energy around Hyeonium begins to surge violently. This insect, you dare trample on my pride. Unforgivable. Do you even know what kind of water you've touched? Hyeonium's body swells, his scales grow larger, and his body bulges. Simultaneously, dark energy spews from between his scales, coloring the surroundings. I will make you aware of your crime. Flash, Hyeonium shoots towards the wonderfully mysterious fortress like a beam of light. Led by her, the integration stage puppets block Hyeonium. Hyeonium's horn strikes her. She manages to block it but is flung away as a result. The next integration stage puppet is shattered into 2 pieces, and the third has its upper body blown away. The remaining puppets also fall, one by one, unable to withstand the rampaging Black Dragon King's assault. Once more, light begins to condense above the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Hyeonium's eyes blaze. That's dangerous. No matter how much I've forcibly drawn out my power, getting hit by that can be disastrous. But twice, can it really be fired twice with just a mere puppet or Dharma treasure? Unless it's an immortal treasure. He further compresses the power he had drawn out and surrounds his body with it. With his defenses solidified through this state, Hyeonium calculates the time. The speed at which the strange monstrous beam from the wonderfully mysterious fortress was previously fired. Calculating that power, he captures the exact moment of the beam's release. Flash, the strange, monstrous beam is fired. And Hyeonium uses all his strength to dodge the beam. Goo. An explosion occurs behind him, creating a hole in Hyeonium's domain. Hyeonium spits out a mouthful of blood but clenches his teeth and presses forward. Now only 2 puppets remain. A supreme tiger race puppet charges at Hyeonium, but he crushes it with his pure energy. A cold spirit race puppet exhales cold air, but Hyeonium ignores it and devours the puppet with an open mouth. Crunch, crack. Finally, Hyeonium arrives in front of the wonderfully mysterious fortress and swings with one foot. Quang, part of the wonderfully mysterious fortress's wall is torn away, revealing the control room where the Mad Lord is controlling the fortress right in front of Hyeonium's eyes. Finally, I see your face. You rat-like creature. Hyeonium's pupils dilate as he sees the Mad Lord inside the control room. Then, he starts probing the inside of the wonderfully mysterious fortress with his consciousness. What kind of structure can produce such power? Is it because of vast cold's power? Hyeonium's consciousness extends everywhere, and reaches the topmost layer of the wonderfully mysterious fortress, a place created solely for the Mad Lord's ideal. And Hyeonium's eyes widen. This is, an immortal art, Xian Shu. He takes a breath, distancing his face a bit from the Mad Lord. I see, it's utilizing the power of immortal arts. I suspected it was infused with vast cold's power, but it turns out it was cultivated using the power of immortal arts directly. Yes. My apologies. No, I apologize. It's a type of immortal art I've never seen before, so it means it's a personally developed immortal art. Hyeonium begins to laugh heartily, as if the anger he had shown earlier was all a lie. Haha, I was shocked, thinking the Nether Crossing River was shaken by a mere insect, fellow Taoist. Indeed, shaking the Nether Crossing River would be difficult without someone of equal standing. But you really confused me, suddenly attacking while spouting nonsense. Well, it's no wonder I initially perceived you as at least of equal standing since you harbored the power of vast cold from the beginning. His expression softens as he continues to speak. That aside, if you haven't come to convey a message from those above, then it must mean you came to meet me of your own will. A fellow Taoist, who dared to expose himself to the light and brave this treacherous place, wielding an immortal art that handles the power of vast cold, and came to meet me, you must indeed be one of the Taoists from the netherworld. I think I know who you are. Ho ho, Hyeonium smiles, wanting to continue the conversation with the Mad Lord. Meanwhile, the Mad Lord is frantically pressing buttons in the control room, spitting out a short remark. What the hell have you been babbling about since earlier, you wordy bastard? Click 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 click. Coo goo goo goo. And around Hyeonium, 28 integration stage puppets appear. Opening square bracket ... Just one question. Where is Co Whale? No. Alright, you're such an impatient one. Fine, if that's what you really want, I'll let you choose between Black General and Black King. Black Emperor is too cool to be an option, so take that into consideration. Chi. As the forcibly drawn-out power dissipates, Hyeonium, eyes wide, looks at the 28 integration stage puppets rushing at him from all directions. What? You, were not. Crack. His entire body begins to be torn apart. A mere insect, a mortal lower than dust, you, who are just a toy among us, developed the true principles of the immortal family Xianjia. Ridiculous. I can't believe it. How could that be? Boom. The Black Dragon King, gazing at the 28 integration stage puppets and the sphere of light condensing above the wonderfully mysterious fortress, mutters absent-mindedly. But then he laughs emptily, as if realizing something. I see. Being born there means this. What a pitiful creature. Flash. A gigantic ray of light covers Hyeonium's entire body. Stop. Everyone stop. All external missions currently underway by the mystical scaled fish commanding sector hereby halted, and all personnel who have come from outside must stop whatever they are doing and leave immediately. I frown at the disciple of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect who suddenly entered the curse room, interrupting the curse spell production. Hey, if we leave now, the structure of this curse will completely collapse, rendering it nothing but a heap of useless energy. The other curse sorcerers nod in agreement at my words. However, the mystical scaled fish commanding sect disciple replies indifferently. It doesn't matter. We've taken all that into account. An issue has arisen within the mystical scaled fish commanding sect that cannot be overlooked, so please leave immediately. Fine, but when you call us back, you'll have to pay us from scratch. The heavenly being curse sorcerers, Gubun and Weehun from Black Ghost Valley, firmly state to the mystical scaled fish commanding sect disciple. The disciple grimaces as if having a headache but nods. Understood. If it really doesn't work out, we'll also pay a penalty, so please just leave. Eventually, we leave the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. What's going on? Does anyone know anything? I'm not sure. The cursed sorcerers each express their curiosity, and I eavesdrop on the conversation through a circuit I had secretly planted in the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. And then I learn the whole story. I see. The Mad Lord attacked Hyaonium, leaving his cave residence in ruins and forcing Hyaonium to flee somewhere in a miserable state, nearly dead. The Mad Lord then pulverized Hyaonium's cave residence to dust, searching for something, and has been wreaking havoc across the True Dragon Alliance's territory ever since. Well, it's not surprising anymore. It's just the Mad Lord being the Mad Lord. With the founder missing, the mystical scaled fish commanding sect has temporarily ceased operations. In the worst case, we might not even get the payment we were promised. And, most likely, the Mad Lord is searching for Co Whale. Testimonies about seeing Co Whale and the Mad Lord looking for Co Whale. These facts are enough to plant the idea in Yu Ryan's mind that, maybe Co Whale is still alive. In the Earth Tribe True Dragon Alliance's Serving Command Arc. At the lowest level of Serving Command Arc, Yu Ryan, having recently become an integration stage Dragon King, was relieved from her duties as Arc controlling envoy and is handing them over to her successor. Yu Ryan Nim, have you heard? The madman who wrecked Elder Hyaonium's cave residence is searching for Grand Prince Co Whale. Yes, I've heard. Yu Ryan's eyes waver. Could he really be alive? However, the rescue signal Co Whale sent her at the last moment and his final moments still linger in Yu Ryan's mind. He was clearly killed by that vile man called Taoist Co. I even saw the scene where his path to resurrection was cut off. But, it feels like he's still alive. Recent news from the human race. The madman called Mad Lord. Searching for Co Whale, and, Yu Ryan's, woman's intuition. All seem to suggest that Co Whale might still be alive in some form. By the way, Yu Ryan Nim, have you heard what that madman named the Mad Lord is shouting as he goes around? I think you should hear this. What is he saying? He's been shouting, Co Whale. Come out, I heard you're getting married. I came to bless your marriage with your lovely bride, so come out now. As he wanders around, quote ellipsis question mark quote. A look of puzzlement crosses Yu Ryan's eyes. That's strange. I knew he was secretly preparing for an engagement ceremony long ago, but because of that I haven't cast the vast cold oath, so we haven't even gotten engaged yet. She recalls sneaking a peek at Co Whale preparing for the engagement ceremony at the Sea Dragon Palace. Of course, Yu Ryan didn't know that Co Whale had anticipated her snooping and prepared the scene to show her. However, Yu Ryan's successor, her close yellow dragon race sister, Yu Hua, speaks with a sly face. Yu Ryan Nim. No, Yu Ryan Unni. I'm speaking as a family member, not in terms of yellow dragon race hierarchy, so please listen carefully. Okay, tell me. The sudden message that Grand Prince Co sent saying he died, the rumors of him being seen in the human race territory, the madman's words about him getting married, and the engagement ceremony he was preparing. Considering all this together, with a serious face, Yu Hua grabs Yu Ryan's shoulders and says, Grand Prince Co might be cheating. What? He's definitely with another woman right now. And no way. How could Grand Prince Co? He's such an upright. However, as she speaks, Yu Ryan can't prevent an image from flashing through her mind. That human pet. The human woman who walked around the Serving Command Arc holding Co Whale's hand. As she thinks of her, Yu Ryan grounds her teeth without realizing it. Now that I think about it, when he first saw that Taoist Co guy, it was on the Flying Immortal platform. He seemed to have some potential but didn't quite meet my standards, and they seemed to know each other from the lower realm. They didn't look like they had a bad relationship at first. Her mind begins to race. They didn't meet after that, but suddenly this Taoist Co comes and kills him in a way that prevents resurrection. And Co Whale sent me that scene. Perhaps, Co Whale was trying to make Yu Ryan believe that he was dead. Such thoughts spin in her mind. Then, he goes to the human territory with that pet, and cheats. Crunch. Unconsciously, Yu Ryan emits a force that distorts the space around her. Everything seems to click into place. Maybe, the engagement preparations back then were not for me but for that pet. And the rumor about him marrying that pet spread, making the madman search for him. Yes, that must be it. Her instincts as a woman are telling her. Co Whale is still alive. And, he must be with that woman from the human race. Co Whale. Regardless, Co Whale, who supposedly died at the hands of Co Unyun, could not answer her. The dead, after all, do not speak. I exclaim in astonishment. Amazing. This place is the Grand Nirvana Temple. The Grand Nirvana Temple, where Tae Yal resides, is beneath Heavenly Human Island. It's a small temple situated at the bottom of a valley under the Cloud Island archipelago. However, what's astonishing is that the entire valley where the Grand Nirvana Temple is located is covered with enormous tangwas. I fail to close my mouth as I observe this majestic sight. So Opa, are there cultivation methods here that can aid with consciousness? I came down here with Kim Yeon. After finding some consciousness methods that she and I can use, all I have to do is ask Kim Yeon to contact Kong Minhee and my part will be done. Yes, and there's also a grand cultivator of the integration stage here. One whose martial arts seem to match especially well with yours. I think of the fighting spirit of Tae Yal. Her enlightenment is clearly centered on the hard method. However, in the bright cold realm, there haven't been any specific internal energy methods developed. That means, her fighting spirit is a fighting spirit founded on the immortal path method. I had never known it was possible to reach entering heavens through refining immortal path methods, but thinking she can greatly aid Kim Yeon, who substituted martial arts achievements with consciousness methods, I brought her along. We cross the valley decorated with majestic tangwas and finally arrive at a small temple. However, unlike other temples, where the main hall is called Grand Hero Hall, this one is called Grand Nirvana Hall, written and pronounced the same way as Tae Yal. Creak. The door of Grand Nirvana Hall opens, and Tae Yal walks out from inside. Welcome, both of you. At her gesture of joining palms, not only do I respond instinctively, but so does Kim Yeon next to me. It seems likely that this too is a function of her Heart and Heaven Tangwa painting. Kim Yeon and I enter the Grand Nirvana Hall. It seems this building is called Grand Nirvana Hall. Yes, the names are a bit unique because we are a minor sect. And as you might have guessed, my name is also derived from this Grand Nirvana Hall. We head to the Buddha shrine and pay respects to the 7 brilliances kings, the bodhisattvas of this world, and then move to the guest hall to sit. Tae Yal herself brings the tea leaves, kindles the wood, lights the fire, and brews the tea for us. It's clear and pure. I remark on the fragrance of the tea and the aura I feel in this temple. It seems like a good place for solitary cultivation. Solitary. There are many people here. It's always bustling. At Tae Yal words, I look around. Now that I think about it, this guest hall. Indeed, there are large tangwas hanging everywhere. Are you interested in Buddhist family methods? I'm interested for secular reasons. I need methods related to consciousness. At my words, Tae Yal smiles faintly. There are plenty of consciousness methods. Especially the 7 brilliances kings lineage methods are mostly consciousness methods. There are things I'd like to ask about those 7 brilliances kings as well. My eyes meet the bodhisattvas in the tangwas. The bodhisattvas in the tangwas all wear benevolent smiles. What would you like to know? I'd like you to tell me everything. Everything, I'll tell you what I know. Tae Yal excitedly brings over one particular tangwa. To explain the 7 brilliances kings, I first have to explain the future king. The tangwa depicts a being. He is seated on a lotus in a meditative pose, dressed in a black kasaya, monk robes, and smiling benevolently. Below the lotus are 7 bodhisattvas. The 7 brilliances kings that resemble those in the tangwas hung around are looking up at the being in black kasaya, raising their hands high up. It's as if they are praising the virtue of this being. The being extends one hand as if inviting the 7 brilliances kings to his side. The future king signifies salvation that will come someday. Some say he represents hope, or tomorrow and the future itself. In terms of the immortal path, he represents the true immortality, or the shedding after entering nirvana. He is also of great significance in the origin of Buddhist family methods, embodying the essence of Buddhism itself. Quote. And the 7 brilliances kings are bodhisattvas and heavenly kings who teach to reach the future king. It is said that once their role is complete, they will follow the path set by the future king, rise to sit beside him, and enjoy the true Dharma in the eternal paradise. Kim Yeon says with sparkling eyes. That's a wonderful story. They seem like remarkable beings. I used to occasionally attend Buddhist lectures back in my hometown. Hoo, it seems your hometown also practices Buddhist family methods. I already feel a kinship. Quote. She seems to find Tae Yal story quite fascinating. However, such a future king is too vast a concept that it hardly appears in the methods. It's mentioned once or twice in the scriptures at most. Essentially, it's the personification of the entire 3,000 great heavenly worlds itself. Therefore, what's usually mentioned in the methods are the 7 brilliances kings, who are practically disciples of the future king. Among them, Tridakna vast cold heavenly king, cultivator Co. Suddenly, Tae Yal Jaeon's gaze turns towards me. Kim Yeon also notices something strange about me and asks with concern. Oppa, are you okay? Are you feeling unwell? I can't answer. For some reason, I feel a strange sense of déjà vu. At the same time, I feel unbearably nauseous. I feel like I'm going to vomit. Since reaching the core formation stage, I have never been sick or felt like this due to health reasons. But for some inexplicable reason, I feel like I am about to throw up and feel so dizzy that I want to lie down. I feel terrible. I examine my body but can't find the cause at all. My mind feels extremely sluggish. I ponder deeply and realize when I had last felt this sense of déjà vu. Ah, right, it's when I vomited on the mass-produced Nether Crossing ship during ascension. It's a similar feeling to that time. Feeling like parasites are wriggling in my brain, I eventually can't endure it any longer and, with all the strength I can muster, I force the feeling of vomiting towards Co Lee. Main body. Ah, I hear a scream of agony from Co Lee's side, but I can't afford to pay attention. My head feels foggy and painful. It's as if bugs have entered my brain and are causing fits of madness. I apologize to Tae Yal Jaeon and ask. I'm really sorry. I feel strangely ill. May I rest a bit? Ah, yes, of course. I'll prepare a room in the monks' quarters for you. Supported by Kim Yeon, I head to the monks' quarters of Grand Nirvana Hall, pondering. What in the world? That Tanghwa. Seeing the Tanghwa, I can't bear it any longer. But I can't understand the reason at all. Main body. Cursing oneself is a peculiar feeling. The present me curses the future me, and the future me curses the past me. That's how people often curse themselves, and it always feels peculiar. Because such cursing only happens when everything goes completely wrong. I look at the vomit in front of me. Who knows what Yuan Li had done to his blood body, but my stomach is filled with blood instead of stomach acid, so what I vomited is bright red blood. And, I had just met Kong Min-hee after leaving the Black Ghost Valley. Kong Min-hee is staring at me with wide eyes as I vomit in front of her. I'll kill you, main body. Of course, it's a meaningless phrase like, I'll kill you, past me, so it's something I just have to bear inside. The bigger issue is that I had vomited in front of Kong Min-hee, a Grand Elder of Black Ghost Valley and a former colleague from the past. I need to fix this. Chapter 300. Protection 2. What should I do? Should I say it's a surprise magic trick? That's crazy. Should I put it back in my mouth? No, what would she think of me? Should I say it's a chronic illness? But I'm already at the nascent soul stage. Or, it's when my head is spinning with thoughts. Kong Min-hee approaches me. Feeling like my head will explode from the tension, I brace myself. Considering Kong Min-hee's personality and the severity of the punishments at Black Ghost Valley, I might end up working in the labor camp with my spiritual power sealed for 10 days or become the test subject for some crazy cultivators for a few days. Then it happens. Are you alright, Co Lee? Kong Min-hee asks, placing her hand on my forehead. Ah, come to think of it, I was so focused on my mistake that I didn't read her intent. Kong Min-hee is actually worried about me. I'm okay. I apologize for showing such an unsightly scene. Unsightly scene? You vomited blood. That doesn't look okay at all. Ah, this is. I try to think of a proper explanation. It's a side effect of a method I practiced before ascending to the bright cold realm. It's just a bit of blood, so please do not worry. Really? However, I realize something is wrong. Her intent is turning cold. My friends say it's a lie. Apparently, some ghosts who practiced devilish arts, like the blood demon suppressing sea light or blood chain binding forest, have recognized my symptoms. I have a lot of friends. And among them, there is a friend with excellent medical skills. They say your symptoms are caused by internal turmoil. Is that so? I apologize for lying. She gestures tiredly towards me. Come here, I'll give you medicine. No, thank you. How could I possibly dare? It's an order. Come here. Don't go coughing up blood somewhere else. Get treated here. I involuntarily follow her to her office. Some ghosts start cleaning up the blood I had spewed at the back. Damn, I just came to greet her to raise some goodwill. Because the main body suddenly saw something strange, I ended up bearing the consequences. She reaches into a storage scroll hanging in her office and pulls out a pill the size of an eyeball. Here, this is called the yin bamboo pill. It's very effective for internal injuries. May I know what this medicine is made from? Why, got allergies? Yes, something like that. Let's see. It's made from ingredients good for internal injuries. Dried leaves of ghost yang flower that grows in places with thick yin energy in Ghost Valley, ghost bamboo that grows in swamps, and yuke. Wine bone toad poop. It seems she is hearing the ingredients from her friends. And black moss, and clay used for building houses. Really, why would you make medicine from that? What? The clay has the power of consciousness imbued in it. What is this? She hesitates for a moment, then asks me. It contains frog poop and mud. It should be safe to take. What do you think? Do you want to eat this? Yes, please give it to me. If I think of it as Yuan Yu's body, I can eat things even worse than poop. Rather, the thought of insulting Yuan Li actually makes me feel refreshed. Alright. I thank Kong Min-hee, chew the pill, and activate the blood demon suppressing sea light. Life energy surges through my body, and my chest feels refreshed. How is it? Do you feel better? Yes, thanks to Grand Elder, I feel much better. The disgusting, revolting feeling that made my stomach turn is completely gone. Yet, I feel slightly worried. The main body's passed out right now. No, rather than passing out, it's more like he's lying down in the monk's quarters to recover his strength, sleeping as if fainted. The problem is that the main body is sleeping. After reaching the core formation stage, I hardly needed sleep or food, and since I swore revenge on Yuan Li after Hyunghwa died, I haven't slept properly. I rarely felt so weakened that I needed to sleep. If I ever passed out, it was usually because I had encountered an exceptionally powerful enemy and fought until I lost consciousness, endured extreme environments for over 10 years until my spiritual power was completely depleted, or met a great being. But, the main body started acting strange after looking at just one Tanghua painting. His physical condition isn't that bad either. Thanks to the enlightenment from Tae Yaljaeon, I learned how to draw power from deep within my unconscious, converting that power into vitality through the formless sword. Yet, out of nowhere, I suddenly felt nauseous and fainted. It's such a strange occurrence. Is there something hidden in that Tanghua? Perhaps that's the case. If so, it's truly terrifying. Because Yian has also seen Tanghua. Perhaps Tae Yaljaeon is being controlled by deities like the Seven Brilliances Kings or the future king without even realizing it. My primary concern is the safety of the main body. At the same time, I'm worried about the safety of us. The main body has always been me. I am Seo Eun-yun, and Seo Eun-yun is Seo Lee. It's no different from playing with a puppet in one hand and performing ventriloquism. Of course, calling it merely ventriloquism is an understatement given the resources and level of the technique involved. My current situation is like a ventriloquist fainting from exhaustion while the puppet wakes up and continues the performance. It's an utterly nonsensical situation. So, is the current, me, the original, Seo Eun-yun, or a second personality, born from Seo Eun-yun? I feel confused about my identity. Of course, it isn't as if I'm suffering or worried about being truly separated from the main body. It is what it is. I possess the memories of the original Seo Eun-yun, as well as his enlightenment. Whether I am Seo Lee or Seo Eun-yun or a second personality born from him. Honestly, that's all there is to it. I have no desire to possess the main body or to steal his life and the power of his regression. The main body's life, the power of regression, and his fate are all in themselves terrifying despair and pain. I don't want to take that on. What worries me is regression. Until now, I was sure that if the main body died, his consciousness would fully transfer to me, and I would become the resurrected form. If the resurrected form dies, I would regress again. However, seeing signs of separation between the main body and my consciousness raises a concern. If the main body dies, he might regress without resurrecting as me. That would be a loss for the original and a huge concern for me. If that happens, what will happen to me? Would I regress with the main body, or stay in this world line? Either way, it doesn't matter. Once the main body wakes up, I'll need to discuss this issue with him. I organize my thoughts and bow my head to Kong Min-hee in front of me. Thank you very much, Grand Elder. Alright, it's good if you're feeling better. Next time, don't think it's rude. If you're struggling or in pain, speak up immediately. I hate people who pretend to be fine the most. Haha, is that so? Yes, back in the day, there was a fool like that in my hometown. What kind of fool? That fool and I, how should I put it, we worked together in a place like a merchant association. That fool made a huge amount of mistakes when he first joined. He managed to improve after making the mistakes soon enough, but, anyway, in his second week, he spilled a drink on his superior's desk. Quote. I know exactly what she's talking about, and my mind sinks. Damn it, it's about me. Definitely about the incident when I spilled coffee on Chief Yun-sok's seat. Yun-sok hung Nim. I thought he was the scariest in the department back then. They say when a woman harbors resentment, frost falls in summer. Then why doesn't frost fall when a man gets angry? Because when a man is angry, it's a force in itself. Now, Oh Yun-sok and I got along well as brothers, and he himself is the type who easily laughs and makes friends. However, typically, such people are the most terrifying when they get angry. After work, I was called to the smoking area for an hour and a half and got a stern lecture while standing in a parade rest posture. It was the first time I realized how terrifying it could be to be reprimanded without getting hit. Especially when someone as big and muscular as him speaks in a low, stern voice. I thought there was a lion growling in front of me. When that stupid bastard messed up, I waited for him to get scolded by his boss and then we went home together. When I saw him, he was drenched in cold sweat and his legs were so weak he could barely stand. When I told him to, how should I explain this here, something like a transport magic artifact. I told him to sit, but he insisted on standing. That's exactly how it was. She had waited for me, struggling herself. I remember the events of that day. Even worse, it started raining when we got off the subway, and Kongmin he didn't have an umbrella. Back then, both of us commuted from our family homes in the southern part of Gyeonggi, so we took the Shinbundong line from Seoul to Gwangyo. One of the reasons I started dating her was that our commuting routes overlapped, and we both got off at Gwangyo. When we got off, all the convenience store umbrellas were sold out and there was nowhere to buy one. Since my home was closer to Gwangyo Station, I decided to run home and gave my umbrella to Kong Min-hee, who had further to go. That's a memory too. Kong Min-hee recounts the story exactly as I remember it, including how I gave her my umbrella. However, her perspective on the experience seems slightly different from mine. That idiot moron bastard dared to catch a cold the next day and wandered around all day with a fever, driving me crazy trying to take care of him. I was so frustrated watching him sniffling all day without being able to speak properly. I don't remember it being that bad. From my memory, I managed to get through the day fairly well. But it seems Kong Min-hee remembers it a bit differently. And what's more, that day, there was something called Excel from my hometown. Our superior taught it to us that day, but because of the cold, he couldn't properly get it in his head, and kept coming to ask me about it. She laughs as if amazed by her own story. This shows that if you fail to take care of yourself in time, the harm spreads to the whole group. Remember this. Don't act like that idiot moron. Quote. Hearing her story, something stirs in me, and I ask a question. But, excuse me, Grand Elder. What is it? In the story you just told, you mentioned that the fool gave you his raincoat and got a cold the next day. Yes, that's right. Then, if you hadn't taken the raincoat, wouldn't you have caught the cold instead? That could have been the case. But unlike that fool, I'm smart. She sighs and continues. If I had caught the cold instead, I could have learned from that. Fool later, right, he's too dumb to understand anything more than what I explained to him, but I can grasp most things with just a single explanation. So it would have been better for me to learn from that idiot later. Therefore, she lights a pipe and stands up. Kong Min-hee begins drawing a formation on the ground that communicates with the Nether Ghost Realm, finishing her story with the following words. If I could go back in time, I would get sick instead. Quote. The main body woke up again. I explained everything I had experienced to the main body and summarized all the events that had occurred while he was asleep, transmitting the information to his consciousness. However, I did not convey Kong Min-hee's last remark to the main body.